And apparently we are live.
Looks like it.
I see an eyeball up top that says 0, but I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure if that's how many's watching or.
Yeah, that's how many's watching, but it's gonna take a minute to get through the ads and everything.
Yeah, that's obviously not accurate. There's people texting. There's people chatting. So.
Okay, I see. Yeah, guys and gals, I apologize. I'm not terribly familiar with the whole StreamYards just yet. This is only my third time doing it, and if you don't do something a whole lot, the more you do something, the more it sticks, right? All right, we're getting a 5x5 from Sean in Alaska. Got Nate in here, Canadian. Laurie Austin is in here, Firefly Farm. Jenny Pennington, Teresa D, the Rooster, Old Nans, Brother Sean in Alaska, Simple Preparedness, Big Bear, Mary Jane. How are you doing? Welcome and good evening. Happy Monday, everyone. Ed, I see you there. Welcome. Yeah, learning curves. There's a learning curve here. Well, there's Kelly's Corner. How you doing, Kelly? It is lovely to see you. Hey, Mark. It's good to see you. Welcome and good evening. Happy Monday, everyone. Lisa, it's going well. I've had a fairly relaxed day. I had some administrative things to do, a bunch of running around and stuff like that. Lewis, I have not forgotten you. There you are, brother. How you doing? I hope you're well, and I hope your sap turned out good after you got it canned there. TJ Preps is in the house. Look at you, young lady. It is good to see you. You guys and gals don't know TJ Preps? Go check her out. Go check out Sean in Alaska. Matthew Trucking, good to see you.
Well, eventually we'll teach him how to do email.
It is good to see everyone. Obviously, you guys and gals can see a lovely couple beside me. Many of you may already know them. They're Brett and Amy from Broussard Homestead. Very, very good friends of mine. We've known each other for a good, awful long while. They're a fantastic family. And why don't I'll leave it to Brett here. Why don't you? I was gonna start blabbing on about his about them and his channel. I'll just let them do that. So why don't you guys and gals go ahead and let the viewers know, for any of them that don't know you or your channel, and what you guys are about, what you're doing, occupation, background, experience. Lay it on us. And
all right.
If you don't mind, Brett and Amy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump you up on the screen. I'll give you the stage while you're talking about it.
All right, sure.
If I can remember how to do that.
I believe in you.
Well, you didn't really say it that confidently. Okay. How do I?
It's got to be easier than email.
Down.
Nope.
Wrong one.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Now listen. Go down into the basement area. Hover over my picture. I think it's the 3 dots maybe that comes up in the top right corner, and it'll give you the option, I believe.
No, that's edit name, kick from studio. No, I don't want to ban from studio. No. That's not where I want to be. Let's try this.
There it is.
There it is. I don't know what you did.
Now we got you.
Yay.
All right. Now be aware we can still hear you, Sean, so don't do anything silly.
Oh, no. I'm quite all right. But I'm going to consider that a small win. Full of hope. Boom. There you are. But these are my friends, Brett and Amy. And they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves and what their channel's all about and those good sorts of things. So lay it on us, brother and sister.
Yeah, well, it looks like we have a lot of the same friends. So I'm looking over the chat. But anyhow, if you don't know who we are, we're Brett and Amy from Southwest Louisiana. We are Broussard Homestead on YouTube.
And Abby.
Excuse me. Maybe a moderator, maybe Sean in Alaska can put our channel link up. That would be awesome. We have a little homestead. We have about 1.25 acres way down south on the Gulf Coast. We're about 30 miles inland from the Gulf of Mexico. in Southwest Louisiana, as I said. Now, if you could picture Louisiana as the boot, we are in the heel of the boot. We have rabbits and chickens and beehives and lots of gardens.
The gardens are expanding every day.
They are expanding. We're switching everything over to, as far as the growing the vegetables, the annual vegetables and stuff. We're switching everything over to raised beds because our soil has a whole lot of clay in it, and we're just sick of dealing with that. So the raised beds just seem to work out so much easier. And as we age, the raised beds are a little bit more in a working zone for us. It's not so we don't have to get all the way down on the ground to work those. So Amy helps me outside. I can't really say that she helps me. We work partnership outside. She does, in addition to all the outside work, she does a whole lot of stuff inside, and I am the helper with that stuff. If you want to go ahead and talk about those things.
Oh, you want to talk about, we do canning, we do dehydrating, we do some fermenting. I've been working on stocking up on medicinal herbs. What else?
Well, we're learning all the time about herbs too.
Right.
Even we're learning more and more about the wild edibles and medicinals in our area too. So you're like the dehydrator queen, I'd say. How many dehydrators do you have?
I have 5, but I only use a couple at a time for the most part.
Except for every now and then, we have all 5 of them full, running all over this whole house.
But they're really loud.
Oh yeah, I see Lori there in the chat. She reminded us that we process chickens as well.
We did. We did quite a few meat chickens. We did 2 batches of meat chickens, and that was a process. The first batch went through the hurricane. They fared pretty well.
Okay,
however,
this is something, seeing as we're on that subject right there, Amy, just here and now, it's kind of something I wanted to bring up because it was a question that was asked in Sean Alaska's live stream from yesterday afternoon.
right.
And someone was in there asking about meat bird varieties, and Sean didn't know because he doesn't have meat birds. He has a laying flock, right? So if you want to chime in on that, will you guys suggest? Because I know you probably have your layers and then your meat birds, and they're probably 2 different species. So I'd like for you, if you'd be willing, to touch on that for any of the viewers out there, the common viewers that we might share with Sean in Alaska for that information.
The meat birds, the breeds are the Jumbo Cornish cross, and they also have a Red Ranger breed now that is more of a heritage breed. The Red Rangers grow a little bit slower. They can be kept for laying eggs and things like that, but they don't get near as big and beefy as the Jumbo Cornish cross. The Cornish cross is what you're going to find in your local grocery stores, your Walmarts, your big box stores, things like that. The chicken you buy there is a Jumbo Cornish cross. Those are a great meat bird. They are ready in 8 to 10 weeks. They are messy. They are really, really, really messy.
Especially when you've had a week of rain before Butcher Day.
Yeah, well, we had one batch that the first batch went through the hurricane. The chicken survived. The chicken tractor, however, did not. So we had to makeshift that for a couple weeks before Butcher Day. And the second batch went through the flood and caused a lot of extra mess.
In 9 months or so, we had four major weather disasters here in our area. So, and we both of our experiences with the meat birds were within that 9 months. So, I just want to take a second and say hi to everybody here in the chat who's saying hello to us. We do see you. We appreciate you for joining in.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that as well. Just recognize some chat apartments in here. Samantha, Sam from S Moore, Northern Girl Hobbies is in here. Hot Diggity's in here, and that is a gentleman that is not too there's Gvon, not too far away from you. If I can get his proper YouTube name. I'm just scrolling in the chat here trying to find it.
I do see a question there from Simple Preparedness.
Oh, go ahead and answer that while I look.
He says, how do you feel about meat rabbits? They're delicious. Animals can be cute and delicious. That's the way I look at this.
We actually have meat rabbits. We started out with just I call it a barnyard breed. It was a bunch of different mixed breeds. And we have one is a Lionhead Mini Rex mix. And
which is a smaller rabbit.
Yeah, it's a tiny rabbit. But we kept her for a while because she made such a great mom.
Sorry, guys. I think it was Devil Dog I was thinking of. And I caught up with him in Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It was having a stream last night. And I caught up with him over there. And he says, all right, what's your nickname for me? So I nicknamed him Hot Diggity. But Les, Lone Star Pioneering, if you're going to call later, that's awesome. Great. It's good to see you, Les. I hope you and yours are well. But carry on. Don't let me interrupt anymore here.
Yeah, Sean in Alaska added a reminder for questions in all caps so that we can see those. Thank you, Sean, for that. And we'd appreciate it if you guys would do that. We don't want to miss any questions.
Well, to finish up on the meat rabbits, we started out with a Flemish Giant New Zealand mix. That's the new ones. That's the new ones that we just picked up. Now these are young rabbits, so we're going to raise them up and then use them to breed. We got extras because we needed a new bloodline. Because if you breed rabbits too much, then you get special rabbits.
Inbreed.
Yeah. So right now we're waiting. The first weekend of May, we should have 2 litters of babies dropping, rabbit babies.
And we just finished up our latest video. Actually, is we incubated some eggs, and we ended up with 6 precious little baby black copper Moran chickens.
Yeah,
and that's our egg layers.
Right.
All right. Here's a question I'd like to throw at you guys. All right. So you're raising meat rabbits and you're raising meat birds, and you also have a laying flock. Do you guys have any aspirations? Like, is that just for personal and family use, or do you have any aspirations of putting any of that stuff to market?
As far as meat goes, no. There's too much red tape. I do share some meat rabbits with some close friends, but it's as far as
there's a lot of licensing and things like that are involved, and it's just too much. Okay.
What about with your eggs? Do you just produce enough eggs for your own household use, or like do you sell them at the road or anything like that?
I sell them. We sell our eggs at the moment, and right now I have one customer that is cleaning me out of eggs as fast as I can get them. So we are increasing our flock to increase our egg production so that we can sell to more than just Linda.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's, I think that's a good offshoot. Like, I mean, you know, it's kind of like anything else. If you've got 15 rhubarb bushes and you only eat 1 rhubarb bush worth a year, you know, it's kind of worth selling it out, right?
Oh, for sure. Bartering and trading is a huge part of prepping. And as far as that goes, we are not only homesteaders, we are preppers as well. In fact, I often say that homesteading is just
sustainable prepping.
I had to get reminded what I normally say.
I'm going to hammer in on this too. In my opinion, as a sort of preparedness channel, in my opinion, now you guys and gals, hey, Morning Lights, good to see you, Frenchie. In my opinion, homesteaders are the ultimate preppers. Like they already went ahead and said, screw all that. We're out of here. We're bugging out permanently. And we're going to go raise our own food and, screw all that. So, and
That's
it's
kind
funny
of what we did.
I was watching homesteading channels before I was watching prepping channels. But don't get me wrong. I've been watching bushcrafting channels for decades. Like I'm not sure if you guys are into the whole bushcrafting.
I was at one point.
But there's an English gentleman by the name of Ray Mears. I think it was called Ray Mears Bushcraft, and he would have a show on PBS, and it's been running for like 20 years or whatever. I'm not sure if he's still active with that or not, but I was watching homesteaders way before I looked at any preparedness sort of mindsets. But okay. So what?
Well, homesteading kind of opens up the prepper mindset, because when you're growing a garden and you grow 300 pounds of tomatoes, then you have to figure out, are you going to eat 300 pounds of tomatoes before they all go bad? Or are you going to have to find a way to preserve them?
Exactly. Okay. So seeing as we're on this subject here now, all right, this sort of quote interview, I consider it a chat amongst friends, really. Again, like amongst like-minded friends, just the same way as Sean and Alaska's interview went, between he and I.
Right.
Just let it flow naturally. I didn't write any questions down, or I didn't make it a point to write anything down for talking points or anything like that. We'll get to those things naturally, and we'll just have a natural chat. So, but while we're here on the whole homesteading idea, a question I had for you guys is, like, roughly about when in your life did the whole homesteading idea or concept become a thing for you guys and gals, or has it been part of your life all your life? Was it shown to you by your mom and your daddy, or
well,
in my case, I grew up around the homesteading mentality. Both my grandparents raised a garden, and
it just wasn't known as homesteading then.
Right, it was just living. But my grandparents had a huge garden, and I was following my grandparents around in the garden and stuff for pretty much since I was old enough to walk. And in that instance, though, I mean, he grew hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes every year. So I was consistently watching my grandmother can in the kitchen, So that was something that I grew up with.
Right. What about you, Brad?
Same here. I was blessed enough to live right next door to my grandma too, and between her and my mom and dad, just sustainable lifestyle was, and we grew up poor too.
Yeah.
I mean, not dirt poor, but we were on the we were less than as when it came to finances. I'll just say it like that. So there was things that my mom would have to be resourceful, because I mean it was just me and my brother, 2 kids. But even still, there were times that we ate just creative stuff for dinner. But
well, see, that's where we were different. We had 4 kids.
Right. Yeah. So their parents were really
pretty
tight.
Low income. Yeah.
Oh, look, Tammy Eaker is also from Louisiana. Interested to know what.
Yeah, there's Han Solo in here. Morning Light's got to go feed her flock. Arnold, how you doing?
But there was a point, before we moved here to our homestead, and we've been here for 7 years, just developing from nothing. Literally from nothing. We were suburbanites, and we were chasing the dream of just the white picket fence, the American dream that was being sold to us, that everything was going to be okay, and you just put yourself in crippling debt and it's all going to work out. and then at some point, well, I was self-employed before I became a firefighter, which, by the way, I am a career firefighter at this point. I have been for going on 13 years. But
we'll get into that for sure. I got some questions about that, and bless you, and thank you for your service.
So before I was a fireman, I was a self-employed flooring contractor. So, and I had been for a few years, and then the housing market of the crash of 2008, I started realizing that I was out hustling for work more than I was actually working. So I needed to do something different. So I became a fireman. But at the same time, I started looking into a more sustainable lifestyle because things weren't panning out the way that I was being told that they should by mainstream media and all of the advertisements that are on TV that are just constantly brainwashing you that you deserve this and you need this. And
you know what? Canadian in here just made an interesting comment. The crippling debt thing doesn't appeal to them either.
Right.
And I think that's an interesting point to talk about when, if we're talking about either homesteading or prepping, that whole concept of the crippling debt, it doesn't appeal to a lot of people because it takes you a lifetime to get out of it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of you'll find a lot of preppers or people who are in, a lot of preppers are in shed to house conversions or living in smaller dwellings, right? Or you have people like myself or apartment prepper in here or Magic, just as they're frugal,
right.
People are purposefully downsizing in order to keep their bills low because, it's pretty obvious over the last number of decades that the cost of things are going up and wages are too, but not as quickly, right? And wages are never going to catch up with what the cost of living is doing to us, right?
No, of course not, because if we were all well off, we would be free from the system, and they don't want that.
No, they sure don't. They
Sean,
sure
let me
don't.
ask you, what is your minimum wage there?
Me, Amy?
Yeah, just in the area.
The minimum wage.
It's near enough $15.
Really?
But
our state minimum wage here is $7.25 an hour.
You know what? Okay. Cost of living is also half the price down there, right? Like, okay, if any of you guys don't know Brett and Amy, they're down in Louisiana, and I'm a Canadian, just outside of Toronto, about an hour outside of downtown Toronto. So there's a huge difference in the cost of living, cost of accommodation, cost of fuel, the cost of food. Everything is it's basically double up here. Like 1-bedroom apartment here, because I've been here for 10 years. It's only legal for them to raise it a certain percentage every year, and they're right on it. I'll tell you, the landlords are right on it. Do I stack silver? Yes, I do. But I don't have a deep pocket to go out and get tons of it. But if Lewis wants to send me 100 pieces of silver for my beard, I'll shave that live. Now you're on the hook, Lewis.
I don't blame me.
Now you're on the hook.
I'll shave Brett's head for that.
But fuel is approaching $7 and $8. Like regular fuel here is I think on Saturday I mentioned it was $6.80 a gallon, and diesel was $7 something a gallon. It's broaching $8 for diesel here.
Okay. See, our regular gas price is hovering just under $4.
Okay, my rent in this 1-bedroom apartment It's a little over $1,000. It's a thousand. It's less than
That's-
1,050. But what the prices are going for now, if I moved out and they slapped a coat of paint on this place, it would rent for $1,400,
Mm-hmm.
right?
The rent here is about $1,000 a month.
Ground beef is $7, right? Brenda
And see, I
Matthews.
haven't seen the price increases in meat near as much as you guys have.
Not in ground beef, no.
Do you know what? It's really funny, Amy. There were some news articles and whatnot a few weeks back about the prices of food going up by 30 or 50%, and I think that was in Germany, is where it was. But I'll tell you what, the very next day here, the price of ground beef was up by 30%.
Wow.
The very next day, I'll tell you what, it's a thing.
Yeah. Let me, if I could take a moment to interject, there was back in the chat, I forget who it was. Sorry, I did see your. There it is. Big Bear Prepper asked, "Can you put your meat rabbits in with your chickens?"
No.
I hope you're still here for me to hear the answer. I suppose you could, but we don't, and we wouldn't, and here's why. In order to have a rabbit colony, which is what they call a rabbits on the ground, you would need much more reinforced fencing than what we have, because rabbits dig, for one.
Mm-hmm.
Our fencing is it's chicken proof and predator resistant. It's just the level that it needs to be.
Not to mention, though, that if you put rabbits and chickens together, the rabbits on the ground, especially here in Louisiana, can get worms from the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're looking at worming the rabbits pretty consistently in order to keep that from happening. And they can get a lot of different fungal diseases and things like that because we are such a warm, humid climate. So you have to kind of be careful with that. There's a lot of different cons to doing that, and we've decided not to do that here.
Also, we raise our rabbits in elevated hutches, and we collect their manure for the gardens.
Right.
So we wouldn't be able to do that if they were on the ground.
I've seen others doing rabbits in an elevated environment as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, this information that you guys and gals are passing, because there's a lot of people out there. Like, I mean,
Well, I'm not saying it can't be done. It just, in our area, it's not really recommended.
Okay. All right. But okay. So, like, I mean, the whole thing is a lot of people are looking to alternatives as far as protein sources, right? And rabbits, one of them. Raising your own meat birds is one of them. Because the price of steak up here, like if you go to the butcher counter and you want a nice cut of steak, you want a nice ribeye, it's $31 a pound.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have no idea what a ribeye steak costs because I don't ever buy them. The only beef that we eat here is ground beef.
I haven't had a really decent piece of steak. Well, it's a year now. It was last summer when the last time I had, and you know what? It was tenderloin. It was beef tenderloin, which is supposedly the finest cut. But I'll tell you what, nothing. And Sean in Alaska will concur with this. Nothing beats a ribeye. But these ones, they were on sale. It was a reduced price because they were, sort of going toward the date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it on a sale, and they were crappy, little skinny, thin ones. But it was still tenderloin, and I think it was $18 for 3 little pieces like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that's why we don't eat a whole lot of beef here.
There's another question here.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just I don't like to pay for it.
I get you there, Amy. I do. Okay, so Brett's saying there's another question.
Yeah, the rooster asks, he says, chickens tend to be a cannibal. Will they not go after the rabbits? If a mouse runs through a chicken house, chickens are on them. Yes, that is true.
The chickens will pick at the rabbits.
Chickens are omnivores. They eat plants and animals. And I don't know that they would go after a mature rabbit, but they would definitely get at the babies if they could.
Yeah.
Chickens will eat chickens.
They would, yes.
They do.
They eat eggs. If there's a broken egg, they definitely go after
sometimes
that.
Even if it's not a broken
sometimes
egg,
they'll break an egg.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's funny. You know, I was watching your all's video from, was it yesterday you put it out? The hatching video?
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Okay, so I was watching that, and I was kind of reminiscing about another video I had watched about someone else's the chicken incubator.
Yeah.
And it was, I forget whether it was a video or if they were live streaming it or whatever. But what I noticed taking place inside of that incubator is, you know, I think you were describing in your video how you got to kind of let them dry off in there and do that kind of thing. But if you get one egg that is hatched out, and you know the bird comes out and it's dumb and it's clumsy and it's wet and goopy and it dries out and it finally, you know, figures out which end is up and stuff like that. And if it's in there for a few hours or whatever, and another chick hatches out and it's all still wet and goopy and dumb and flopping around and stuff like that, the chicks that are even just a couple hours older will pick on the ones that just hatched out.
That can happen.
That it does happen. Yeah.
I don't know if that's cruelty or, you know, maybe they've been in the shell so long. It's like, dang, I'm hungry. You look like food, you know, because they don't know what food is. They've been inside of a shell their whole life.
At that point, they don't.
I think it's very similar to babies that, you know, they're trying to touch everything they can and look at everything that they can. Babies put their hands in their mouth. They put everything in their mouth. That's how they learn. And I think the chickens are kind of similar. They peck at everything and anything they can get their beaks on. Just kind of learning what things do and what things don't. And, you know, we had a couple of them in there running around and stuff, and one would peck at the other. And I think they finally figured out, hey, when I peck at this, it squeaks.
Hey, Bill, the Cajun Homestead is here.
Yep. Chickens will pick on the weaker ones.
Brett, I was just noticing the Cajun Homesteader, and interesting, I see the fleur-de-lis in there, and which is, you know, that's a French symbol, and anyone that doesn't really know what fleur-de-lis is, it's you know, the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Okay, but it's a French symbol, and you know, you guys and gals know that we have a quote sort of bilingual country up here where French is our second language, and a lot of you Cajuns came directly from Canada, right? So let's just take a minute to recognize chat. And thank everyone for coming in.
Politicians.
Welcome everyone. This is for anyone who doesn't know, this is Broussard Homestead. Wonderful brothers and sister of mine, Brett and Amy, homesteading down in Louisiana. So we've known each other for a good long while, and we thought it'd be a great, interesting chat to talk about the homesteading / prepping thing, because Brett and Amy do both, and I guess I'm more on the prepping end of things, okay? But I do also do some, I guess, if you want to call it urban homesteading, you know, like I pickle, you know, I make my own Dijon mustards, and I smoke my own meats and whatnot here in the city, in an apartment with a tiny little backyard garden. I do some tiny space gardening. I also do some container gardening, right? I think it's highly, highly important these days. And this is something that Brett and I were talking about last night when we were on the phone. I think it's highly important that if you've got a little patch of dirt anywhere, I think you should put something in it you can eat.
And I think that's important for everybody to understand is homesteading is, homesteading, whether you're in an apartment or you're on 5 to 20 acres. Showing you're growing only for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
So you don't need a huge acreage of food to put away.
Right.
Well, also this year, Amy, let me just jump back up here. Also this year, Amy, a lot of you are familiar. I've got some health conditions I'm working through and dealing with, and might not be through it until the end of the year. Okay. So I don't know what my physical capability is going to be this year, or coming into fall. If I have to incur a major surgery in the fall, I don't know what my ability is going to be to put back a big crop. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to do things a little bit differently. And I mean, y'all know it's like we talk all the time. You guys know it freaking snowed here last weekend. And then today we had I think we were 66, right? But she's going to dip down again. We're going to have nights at freezing. So we're not going to plant here for a little wee bit. But yeah, I'm going to change things up. Grammy Karen, I see you in there. Mrs. Lone Star Pioneering, how do you do? Christy Betts. I'm changing up things, how I garden this year for sort of less stress gardening, less labor intensive gardening. So I'll be taking folks through what I do, and I'll show you all my successes and failures.
But with you doing a small area like that, you can actually go eat what's in season and keep a garden through the entire year, right?
No, we can't keep a garden. Amy, the ground is frozen here for 5 months.
No, but even in a small greenhouse container.
I don't happen to have one of those. Mag members of mine that are about 20 minutes away, they do have a tiny greenhouse like y'all got over at the TSC there.
Right.
Yeah.
They do happen to have one, and they keep that indoors. And they eat fresh salad greens out of it all winter long.
Well, that's cool.
Which is a good idea. Yeah. And, I guess it maybe if I got rid of some of my possessions or whatever, I could position one of those in an area where, I got a window here and a window in the kitchen. This one is west facing. The kitchen one is south facing. I could put a greenhouse there, I guess. The kitchen window is kind of spoken for the air conditioner in summer. So I might have to do it here in the living room on this west facing window.
Well, if you have a grow light, you wouldn't even need a window.
Well, that's just it. I would have to do it with lights. I was just about to bring that up, Amy.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a great idea to get together on the homesteading preparedness type of aspect. Now, Brett did mention earlier in the chat that they're also on board with the preparedness thing, and that's not news to me. I've known these lovely folks for a good awful long while, and like I say, we talk all the time, so I know about it, right? But do you want to have some more talking points on sort of how you approach your preparedness?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Kind of how you relate it to related or separate it from your homesteading. Like, I know they're both linked. Brenda Mackey, my hydro is included, although it's written into my rental contract. I can't have a big chest freezer. I can't have a washer and dryer. Okay, so but grow lights, I don't think that would be a problem. But I kind of wanted to plug you a little bit on that, Brett. And one of the things I did want to bring up about your property that you didn't mention because you said you have raised beds and you're doing meat rabbits and meat chickens and things like that. Not to mention your elderberry and all those kinds of things. But you do have a very, very large pond on your property.
Yes. Well, technically, the pond is our property line is on this bank of the pond, but we do have access to it. So, the size of the pond doesn't take away from the acre and a quarter that I claim that we own. So that's added,
But it's thousands and thousands of gallons of water you have access.
Yes.
Now,
yes, not to mention the meat source, fish,
exactly,
turtles, frogs.
So is it stocked with fish?
Yeah.
It's naturally stocked. We didn't stock it, but there has been various types of perch, bass, and catfish that we've pulled out of there. In addition to the turtles and the big bullfrogs.
What about the alligator?
There was an alligator once.
Brett scared it away.
There was the only time I've ever and I grew up here. We came back to my place of childhood, I guess. But we sectioned off a piece of what was once the back field, was what we called it, and we've developed it into a homestead, I guess. Anyway, of all my 46 years on this earth, the only time I've ever seen an alligator here on the property was this little 3-foot alligator, and just happened
you decided to chase in a boat with a 55-gallon trash can.
I wanted to catch it.
That's kind of a dumb smile you're saying you got on your face while you're saying I wanted to catch the alligator.
Well, it was the trouble I had is that it's just a little flat bottom boat with no motor on it. So I am the motor, and I'm trying to catch him. Yeah, I didn't have enough hands.
You were trying to catch an alligator
in a trash can.
In a trash can. Do you know that if you got the alligator into the trash can, alligators are heavy, even at 3 or 4 feet.
What's the worst he could have done?
I don't know. I don't know if Brett and Amy's talked about this live before. We've talked about it privately before, so I know this story already. But okay, aside from the odd alligator that's in your pond, do you harvest the fish that are out of there?
We do. Every now and then we do. We try not to overfish it, obviously. We try to be good stewards of the land.
Okay, see, that's highly responsible behavior, and I mean, it's kind of like looking after the land so it looks after you, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, God provides, but he expects you to be wise with what he provides.
Boom, there we go. I don't think I could have said that better myself.
Yeah.
But why don't we, with that sort of segue, that tiny little segue there, which is a little bit funny. And to be honest with you, brother, I do take a little bit of personal enjoyment out of that dumbassedness. And I'm sorry. I don't mean to chastise you.
Had you caught the alligator in the trash can, both him and the alligator would have ended up into the pond, and then that's when his life insurance could have come into play.
Yeah,
Amy, that is.
I have to be careful how much life insurance I add on myself, because I don't want to be worth more dead than I am alive.
All right. There's been a little bit of stuff. G-Ma Merkel, it's good to see you. There's been a little stuff floating around in the chat about wild boar. Do you guys incur that in your area?
Not here on our homestead, no.
It's getting closer. It is coming up from the south.
Mm-hmm. We have seen white-tailed deer here. That's interesting.
Those are delicious.
Mm-hmm. Those are a new thing here. Over the last couple of years, they're moving into the area. So,
Amy, shoot them in the ear. Go on, Amy. Go ahead. All right. For any of you guys, that don't know
I'm
Amy,
gonna get a refill.
she is a crack shot. Like she is good with a rifle. So why don't you just chime in a little bit about that, Amy? But the first thing you ever shot.
Oh, the first thing I ever shot, the only thing I've ever shot at living anyway, was the bobcat that was after our goats. And first shot, and he was down.
Where did you hit him?
In the ear.
We found
That's what I was aiming for, so I think I did pretty good.
Well,
Yes,
I skinned it. I skinned the bobcat to try to save the pelt, which we
Yes.
did, and put it in the freezer. And then it was in our outdoor freezer. And when we were out of power for 2 weeks after the hurricane,
We forgot that freezer
I didn't give
had
that.
stuff in it.
Yeah, I didn't power the whole shed, so we forgot about it, and we lost the pelt.
Yeah, we
she
lost the
shot
pelt. I was bummed about that.
She shot it right in the ear, not the rear, the ear. My sister Amy over here is a crack shot.
Well, my daughter Katie is actually a pretty good shot too. She can take a 22 rifle that holds 15 rounds, and she can shoot the tab off of a Coke can while it's hanging
And swinging.
and swinging. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, my daughter, she's better with my own crossbow than I am. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not terrible with it, but she's way better.
Nice.
But
we have an like an unwritten understanding with all of the wildlife. They're all welcome here. We have cardinals and doves and the wild rabbits and possums
and skunk
and deer and you name it. If it's wild in this area, I've seen it here. We have an understanding. You're welcome here, but if it comes down to if I need to eat you, I'm going to.
like the white-tailed deer, those will eat your garden.
Well, we have tons of wild rabbit, but the problem with the wild rabbit is because it's on the ground in the hot, humid weather, you run the risk of the rabbits having worms in the meat.
Right.
So normally we don't shoot and kill rabbits until after the first frost.
We have right to our north, we have there's 60 acres of very neglected prairie. So there is plenty for the deer and what have you to eat in there. They don't normally come after our gardens.
Gotcha. But I'm just saying, if they come onto your property, they will eat your garden.
Yeah, that's
if they come onto my property, they will get shot in the ear.
And that's what you tell that's what you tell wildlife and fisheries if it's out of season. They were eating my garden.
Right. Okay. So with that, let's get into a little bit about. Lori, I do know how to put on slow mode. When I run through YouTube, but I'm running through StreamYard right now. I haven't learned. That's not part of my learning curve just yet. This is like try number 3 at StreamYard. So I'll get things figured out eventually. But let's sort of sashay into sort of your preparedness aspect, because I know you do the both, and you know they're one sort of relates to the other. You know, with homesteading and prepping. But share with us a little bit about, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring up your pond, is for the prepping aspect of it, because that's thousands and thousands of gallons of water that could be cleaned for use and drinking, right? Cooking, whatever the case might be. But I'd like for you guys to share, you know, sort of your aspect toward preparedness and you know how you guys approach it, what you do, what your skill sets are. Like, okay, you being a fireman is going to be part of it, and we talked about some medical training that you both have as well. So if you guys could go ahead and share, with folks that are watching that are more along the preparedness kind of mindset, what your deal is with that, that would be freaking awesome.
Well, before I became a career fireman, Amy and I both spent 9 years off and on doing volunteer firefighting. So, and in volunteer and career firefighting, there's an emergency medical aspect to it as well. So we're both versed in that. Amy, you also have the CNA degree. It's expired now, but you have that.
Right. I went to school for that.
And I have the professional firefighter end of the emergency medical.
Now, can you just break it down, Brett, what that CNA is, please?
It's basically a certified nurse's aide.
Okay, thank you.
It's yeah. So like if there's your
just for folks who
RN,
don't know the abbreviation.
there's RN, there's LPN, and then there's CNA, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if they call it CNA anymore. Anyway, I did that right out of high school, and then with the volunteer fire department, I was first responder certified, CPR certified.
They used to call it first responder. Now they call it EMR,
Yeah.
emergency medical
response.
Well,
responder.
with having just that knowledge, even if that's like the most basic portion of nursing or training that you can get, I would say you're a lot more prepared for any sort of medical condition than like probably 90-95% of the people that are out there.
Right.
Right.
It's the knowledge. It's the knowledge of wrapping bandages and, being able to splint a broken leg or, things like that the average person may not know. So.
Well, and like I said, with me being a professional fireman, I've got the mindset and the training to be always prepared, always ready. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, we kind of live that every summer.
Hurricane season. Yeah. So that's another thing that we like to tell people: prepare for what's likely in your area. For us, that's hurricanes.
Yeah. Why don't you go in and ring in on that? Because I know not last year, but 2 years ago, you guys just got smoked.
Yeah. The hurricane season of 2020 was terrible for us.
Hurricane season is from June to November.
And we here on our homestead, we were some of the lucky ones. There were people who
Brett,
absolutely lost everything, and I don't want to take away from those people.
Brett,
yes.
I'm not sure if it's something that you can do while you're on this stream or not, but is it possible that you have the ability to share with the folks an above sort of a
view? Are you talking about
above the
Google
blue
map?
Blue roof
yeah,
thing?
I was actually just looking at that today, and they have updated it since then.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not that way anymore.
It's not as bad as it was. They're getting onto it.
Well, no, they updated the Google overhead. So yeah, it's far better than it was. I mean, we're 20 months.
Yeah, 2 years.
Hurricane Laura.
I don't even know.
So there's been a whole lot of progress in repairing Lake Charles. I heard that after the hurricane, see, we had 2 major hurricanes in 2020.
Yeah,
Laura was just like over the top, and then 6 weeks and 1 day later,
13 miles.
Hurricane Delta came through. It was strong too, but it wasn't as strong as Laura. But the point where they made landfall on the Louisiana coast was 13 miles apart. So it's just like I like to say that Delta came in and just poked a bruise. It just, the people who were just kind of cleaning up and getting things going just got set back again. And then
girl, you stay well, sister.
So that was Laura was the end of August of 2020. Delta was the beginning of October 2020. February of 2021 was the the super freeze that a lot of people know that, you know, that was in
Snowmageddon.
Texas, but it also affected us way down here, which
I'll
is
be right back.
just something that we don't normally get at all. We don't normally get snow every year. Sometimes
No,
it's 8 years before we see snow.
I recall
And,
you were sending me pictures at the time of that, and
mhm.
you know, people got it really, really bad. Like folks died and froze to death in their recliners
Yeah.
and such, right?
Yeah.
There's Honey Badger Homestead.
There was a one of Amy's distant family members was one of those.
Is that
Fell
right?
asleep outside. Fell asleep outside under the carport and never woke up.
Goodness
during
gracious!
That freeze. Yeah.
Wow, that's brutal. And you know, so did that particular event do anything for you to change your preparedness? Like, did you prep a heating source or?
Yeah. If you can see behind me,
I'll put you up.
I don't know if you can. Yeah, that's a space heater
there.
Right here.
Yep.
That's a propane space heater. Before the hurricanes, this house was all electric. Everything was electric.
Hey, Camo.
And after the hurricanes and what we dealt with in the aftermath, we changed over our stove to propane. We got a propane tank out in the yard, and we added that space heater. Which the space heater it's going to be rare that we need to use that. I know, but it's a nice fallback. With the freeze that we had in February of 21, we were out of power and we used it for 4 hours.
To my understanding, you also had a major problem in 20 during those hurricanes. After the hurricanes, when you were left without power, what did you do about that?
Well, what Sean is referring to is we didn't have a generator. And I figured it had been, before that hurricane season, it had been 15 years since we had a major hurricane. And I was a young guy then. And and it was so far back in my memory that I figured we'll be okay without a generator. We'll make it. Well, it didn't turn out. We were okay. The human family members were dealing with it. It sucked. It sucked bad, but we were okay. Our golden retriever, Angel, however, really struggled with the heat. Now, keep in mind, at the end of August here in Louisiana, well, especially on those days, to be exact, our heat index was in the 1 teens.
Wow.
Heat index is heat plus humidity. So
yeah,
you can't go in the shade to cool off because the shade is hot because of the humidity.
Yeah, gotcha.
So anyway, Angel had a really hard time. We thought we were going to have to put her down. We brought her to the emergency vet, but the car ride to the emergency vet was air conditioned. And by the time we got to the vet, she hopped out of the car like nothing was wrong. So we figured out that that's what it was. We ended up borrowing a generator and a window air conditioner to get us through the rest of that power outage. And then one of our gracious viewers bought and sent us a generator. So we had that for the aftermath of Hurricane Delta. And by then we had also purchased a window air conditioner. So we were set up as far as that goes. So we were good to go. Now, to just quickly add this in, Angel, our golden retriever, let's see, we're in April now. It was a year ago in April. She was old, and we ended up having to put her down because I don't think she ever fully recovered from that heat exhaustion.
All right.
But anyway.
Brett, I really appreciate you sharing that because
Mhm.
that's not something that's easy to come out and say. Like, and I'm not trying to point a finger at you or wag my finger at you or nothing like that.
Right.
But that's showing a massive hole in what your preps were at the time, right?
Right.
Um, and it also shows the importance of community and mag, right?
Yeah.
It's not that we want to rely on anyone else to give us a hand because nobody wants to be in a position where they need a hand, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, but it sucks asking for help.
Yep.
Right.
It really
Well,
does.
the first
Trust
step,
me.
and
Been there
and
in a big
any
way.
any um any counselor, like, personal counselor will tell you, the first step to improving anything about yourself is addressing the problem, is accepting the problem. And
Yeah,
that's what we had. We had a problem. We didn't have a generator. So
yeah, for sure. And that's a lovely gift from a viewer. That was very, very
oh,
wonderful for them to do. And at the time when you guys were going through that thing, I was one of the people who donated a bit of cash. I was in a position at the time where I could just to help cover your expenses. I know you had to stay out of home uh,
right.
for some evenings, and when I'm in a position to do that, I don't mind being charitable whatsoever. I don't,
Right.
Right.
and that's what community is all about.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Exactly. But talking as far as the dog issue with the heat, it really brought to light how many people really struggled with the heat. Our heat index after the hurricane, me and Abby stayed in the house for 4 days with no power, and the heat index was 108 degrees.
Oh yeah, Amy and I have talked about this a few times. Like we're good friends. We talk fairly frequently, and just either on the phone or we'll do a private live stream between ourselves, and not a live stream, but a private stream between ourselves, and um, just like have a conversation, a face to face or whatever. And we've talked about these a lot of these things a number of times, and I think it's important to show the correlation between homesteading and prepping. And I think it's really, really important to highlight what the holes are in our preparedness. And, like, thank you both so much for, being big enough to share that shortcoming on your part. And like I said, I'm not pointing a finger or wagging it or nothing like that.
Right.
It's about highlighting. It's about all of us looking at where our holes in our preps may be, or whichever, right?
Yeah, and that lesson, that experience taught us quite a bit. Of what to prepare for. What to can. That's quick and easy to cook,
Oh.
because when it's 108 degrees in the house, you don't want to turn on a gas stove.
Oh, Amy,
You don't want to turn on.
you were canning like a nut bar before that.
I
3
did for
days.
3 days straight. I cleaned out an entire shelf in our freezer. We had canned meats and all kinds of stuff just laid out all over the floor in here. It was everywhere. But
Oh, and if anybody doesn't know it,
one of the lessons I learned is after dealing with Angel, the dog, having a heat stroke, realizing that people can have the same issues with the heat.
absolutely, absolutely, and
And a lot of people don't realize that. I think we were better off because we're conditioned to being outside. We're outside in the garden and outside working around, so the heat, I don't want to say it wasn't as bad because it was pretty brutal. And the nights were the worst when you set up a recliner in front of the window and there's still no breeze.
I can't even imagine, Amy. I can't even imagine.
It
If
was,
I ever
it
go
was
visit you guys, it'll be in the winter, and hopefully it freaking snows. But
Well, if you come in our winter, you need to come in either January or February, and it's probably like your fall.
yeah, okay. Here's
You'll probably need like
here's
a
an
light jacket and
interesting
muck boots.
life hack that you guys and gals can do if you've got power but your heating is out. My friend
Wait,
Amy
say
over
again?
there, she's got 5 dehydrators. If you've got power but the heat is out, you can plug in those dehydrators and they will create heat.
This is true. Yep.
It's a little something to think about. Little life hack. We got to think outside the box. When
I know a friend of mine, it was up in Dallas, and during the Snowmageddon incident in 2021, and her grandson was just an infant, and they were without power. They put in camping tents in the house, and they were able to use candles in the camping tent to warm it.
Yes, ma'am.
To keep him warmer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Just thinking outside the box.
Absolutely, and I mean that's part of your preparedness mindset is thinking about these different little things. Like I did a video, I don't know, a year and a half or whatever ago, and it was a stupid little video about candle
terracotta pot
over top of a terracotta pot. Yeah, exactly, Amy.
Yep.
And there's a lot of channels out there that'll poo-poo on that idea, but it works. I'll tell you what, it works.
That saved a friend of mine quite a bit. They were able to close off one room and use that method and keep much warmer.
Exactly.
I mean, when it may be the stupidest idea in the world, but if it works to keep you alive through an emergency, then it wasn't stupid at all.
Yeah, that ain't stupid. That $1 or however much your dollar store sells those tea light candles for, and that's not the place I would recommend to get them, because they're the crappiest tea light candles you can possibly get. But man, are they cheap! You can get a whole bunch of them. Put those back, and if the wick burns down and 1 or 2 don't work, whatever. You've still got a heat source. A candle's only going to put out a certain number of BTUs, but if those BTUs rise up and sort of cool as they go up, dissipate as they go up, using that clay pot over top of it will store the heat and allow it to radiate out over time. Like you say, isolate the room. Maybe block if you got a window and or a door. Like I got a window there and a door there and a door to the kitchen right there. Close the door to the kitchen, block that window with a blanket and the door with a blanket. Isolate the room. Put on a tea light heater. I can sleep here on this couch, no problem. No problem, and stay nice and warm. But let's
there was people in this area during the snowstorm that were putting bubble wrap on their windows.
Yeah, any sort of insulation like that will work. But let's go ahead and I see there's some other folks jumping into the chat here, so let's just go ahead and say hello to chat. Welcome anyone who's just coming in. We appreciate you being here for this in-depth homesteading / prepping chat with my good friends Brett and Amy from Broussard Homestead. I see you there, Steve-O. Welcome. It's good to see you. End of the world. There you are. Hello. Welcome. To anyone else I might have missed in the chat. East. It is good to see you, brother. I hope you're well, brother. I know your situation has changed up. If you guys and gals don't know East Tennessee Preparedness, go check him out. He's been out of the loop for a few weeks, and his situation has changed up a little bit. He's still going to be keeping moving forward. Hey, Kenny. Kenny Parrott. I'm probably saying it wrong. I said it 3 ways, so definitely 2 of them are wrong.
Well,
Dagmar, Mark Webb. I think I said hello earlier. I think I got you earlier. Yeah, go check out East. He's a great guy, great the Southern brother, doing the things and moving forward. Doing the things and moving forward. So, yeah, Brett and Amy, is there anybody you'd like to say hello to in the chat? Please go ahead and welcome them. Remind everyone what your channel is, what you guys are all about, with your homesteading and preparedness, and we'll keep this flowing if you guys are good to keep it flowing.
Yeah, I would just like to say hi to everybody. There's a lot of people that I do recognize and a lot that I don't. So hello to the new ones. Hello again to the ones that we do know. In case you missed earlier, we are Brett and Amy from Broussard Homestead in Southwest Louisiana, just 30 miles inland from the Gulf of Mexico. And we have a super long growing season when it comes to plants, but very brutal summers. So it's kind of a trade-off.
Today we went from 85 degrees and hot and humid to 68 and wonderful within about an hour.
This is true.
All right.
We were outside working this morning in the front yard, putting in some plants, moving some plants around, just kind of whatever's. And I was so sweaty.
You were soaked.
I was soaking wet. And
All
then
right, Brett and Amy, we had I think about 66 today, and of course I didn't check the weather before I went outside, so I put on. It's kind of still quote winter up here. I put on my winter coat and I went outside. I was like, well, hell, I don't need this. It was like my Linda. It's good to see you. Julie F. Gathered. Everyone else, Tammy, sorry. I go outside. It's like, dang, I don't need my coat. So I took it off and I put it in the back seat of the car. Went out and went along my business. So we had near 70, but Raptor Ranch, good to see you. We're going to have evenings of right at the freezing mark, like right at 32 here for the next 2-3 days. So, you know, like, don't get me wrong. I totally get that everyone wants to get outside and put their hands in the dirt and get food in the ground and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, whether you got a vegetable garden or a pleasure garden, whenever it starts to get nice, people want to stick their hands in the dirt, right? But you gotta be careful, especially up here. You know, like Amy thinks I'm a freaking nut bar for living up here where the ground is frozen 5 months of the year. And you know, hey Diane, Barry, I see you there. I think
our ground never freezes here.
Living down there where it's a damn 110. You know,
our ground never freezes here, and right now today we were literally at 85, 86 degrees and about 80% humidity, and our grass is green. We've already had to mow grass several times, and I've got tomato plants, tomato, zucchini, and cucumber that are already producing fruit.
Wow. Eating some strawberries already. Yesterday or day before, we went out and picked some native dewberries.
That's part of the trade-off. Like, you know, I was driving around today, running around. I had to do this and do that, and you know, but like I had some administrative things to do. So I'm driving around doing this and doing that, and I had a radio station on listening to some cheesy 80s rock, but my mind was wandering, and I was thinking, why the heck doesn't Brett and Amy just move the hell out of Louisiana where it's so dang hot? And then I was thinking, why the heck don't I just move out of Canada where it's so dang cold? You know, and I mean, you know, right. we're all just where we are, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I tell people I'm cold-blooded. I hate to be cold. My if it gets below 50 degrees, my feet are like blocks of ice. And I can't do it. I can't do it. So God put me exactly where I needed to be.
If you garden naked, your neighbors won't come to borrow sugar.
G-Mon. That is awesome. That is awesome. And that's very, very true.
Or they will, and they'll make it weird.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't let it get weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not built for that that whole cold stuff for months on end. I get cabin fever so easy.
Mm-hmm. It's bad enough. Our winter is through pretty much January and February, and I say that because I literally picked the last of our tomato plants from tomatoes from last season on New Year's.
Steve-O, some neighbors will want to borrow extra sugar. Steve-O is a recent, fairly recent subscriber to my channel. About a few weeks, 3 weeks, a month maybe now. Well, there's Southern Boy Prepper in there.
Yeah, we're still waiting on him to visit.
The guy works all the time.
He's driving back from Mississippi. Good Lord, brother. Keep your eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, and just stay safe, okay? We want to see more of you, bro.
So I doubt they would notice north with the camera.
So what's on your plate for this year? Are you guys doing anything different on the homesteading aspect? And once you've had that sort of mention, do you want to chime in if you've got any major plans as far as preparedness this year goes? Just cover the whole both topics in one question.
Well, this year instead of doing, we stopped doing meat chickens. That's one thing we've decided. We are going to start incubating we have layers, but they're a dual purpose chicken. We have several different breeds. I call them a barnyard mix. They're like a Heinz 57 mix of chickens. And but they're beefier chickens, so they can be used for a meat bird or a layer. So what we're doing is we're incubating your own chickens and building up our flock, not only for egg production, but if we need the meat, then it's available right there in the yard.
Amy, I'm going to let you guys have this talking point here for a second. I just got to dip out to the loo.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Just it's your show. Hold the fort.
Go ahead.
If I could jump in real quick, we had a major change at the end of December. My godparents are our neighbors, and we have a very close relationship, as if they are my parents. And my godfather fell ill and passed away. So my godmother, I call her my nanny, she is still our neighbor, and she is in the of course, we're all still grieving and getting accustomed to life without my godfather. But my nanny is getting a new home, so she's got to. It's a trailer house, manufactured home. So we've got to help. We're helping her do all of what it takes because basically she's got to move. It's like moving. They're moving that trailer out and moving the new one in. So that's a whole thing that we're working on helping out this year with that. I just wanted to throw that in there. Comrade's here. I haven't seen that name in a long time.
Well, another thing that we're doing new this year is we're working on a food forest. We're trying to build up an area of the property that is shaded, basically, because we have no trees. We have very few trees. We're trying to add some shade, but we're also trying to add fruit trees and herbs and just an area that doesn't really have to be mowed.
Mainly, and when we're choosing plants, trees, shrubs, that sort of stuff, we're looking at mainly things that are either edible, medicinal, or good to attract pollinators, not just pretty stuff.
Right.
Pretty stuff is nice too, but that's not forefront, you know.
Okay, so because I was out of the room, you're both going to have to go ahead and say all that all over again. Hey, comrade.
Well, I can just tell you real quick. I mentioned about the passing of Danny, my godfather.
Yes,
and how
we talked about that. Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard, and I don't know if I've told you, but my nanny, the surviving widow, is getting a new trailer house. That's all in the works. So
we have talked about that. Yeah, Brett. Yeah, we have.
Okay. I can't remember.
For guys, hang on a second. I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to mention to other folks in the chat here. You see K0MRD Radio Prepper in the chat. Go on over and see him for all your communications stuff. Okay. I just want to throw that in there because that's an important part of preparedness and stuff like that. It's a very communications is very, very important. Brett will know that as a fireman, right? So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let me give the floor back to you and let you keep chiming in on what you're chiming in on.
Okay. You were. I'm sorry. I cut you off. You were talking about the chickens and stuff. We changed.
Yeah, we changed over from meat chickens, and we're just gonna do our layers now as a dual purpose chicken. It's a whole lot easier than.
I know. I heard that. I was just messing you a little bit.
Okay. The meat chickens got to be to where
you can call me after and tell me I'm a jerk if you want to.
When I tell you
now.
Well, yeah, you can tell me now if you want to. I know you got no shame. It's all right. It's all right.
I need to take my turn to take a break.
The meat chickens got to be really messy. They are a lot of work, and we did the expense. The cost of feeding them it worked out to about $12 a bird. So that was pretty high.
For a meat bird?
Whereas our layers and stuff, we're supplementing their feed with food scraps and things from the garden and stuff like that. So they're way cheaper to raise and to feed, and they don't have to be moved around in a little bitty tiny tractor all day.
That's really interesting. Let me jump back up here. That's really interesting, Amy, because I got a buddy of mine. You probably heard me mention his name before. My buddy Dan.
Mm-hmm.
He, a few years ago, sold his in-town property and bought an out-of-town property. And I don't know if he's on 2.5 or 3 acres, maybe 3.5. It's a nice little parcel. He's doing some. He's doing bees. He's doing fruit trees. He's doing. He put in a greenhouse. He does his own maple syrup. He's got a laying flock, and he's been doing meat birds. But he sells his meat birds out at $5 or $6 a pound. So he's getting $36 for a chicken.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I believe it. You almost have to, because in order to cover the cost, those birds they require a higher protein feed. And that high protein feed is about double what we normally pay for our layer feed.
Yeah.
And towards the end there, they were going through a 50-pound bag of feed every 3 days.
When I go to the grocery store, like the cheap regular store I shop at, every now and again you'll get whole chickens on sale for $1.99 a pound. But when they're not on sale, when they are on sale, you can pick up a bird for anywhere between $6 and $8, right?
Right.
But when they're not on sale, when they're the regular price, they're $12 or something like that. And I mean, if it costs you $12 to feed them, and then you have to pay to have them processed, or if you're processing them yourself, there's no actual win. If it's a push, if it costs you $12 to raise, or you could buy one for $12, you might have
the problem. The problem here is, for whatever reason, our meat is way cheaper here than you guys. On sale, I can get them for like 79 cents a pound.
Robert Bates up here. There's a cheap grocery store, a couple of them. The one that I shop at, because I have one here in my town, it's called Freshco, and there's a chain that's been up here in Canada. Geez, it was introduced when I was a little boy, so it's been around for 40 plus years, 45 years or more, and it's called No Frills. And it's just there's a no-name brand, and it's just a yellow label on stuff. Baked beans. It's
awesome.
It's not Clark's or Bush or anything like that. It's No Frills, right? But that's what we have here for a cheap grocery store. We don't have a Kroger's or some of those discount stores or anything like that. But Raptor Ranch says they ferment chicken scratch. I've heard people add water to theirs to add weight to it for substance, for the weight in the chicken's gut.
Yep.
Stop and Shop, also known as Stop and Drop Your Wallet. Okay, Robert, gotcha.
Well, here, I mean, a regular price for a chicken, like an entire chicken, I can get one for $5-6.
Do you know what? All right.
So if it costs me $12 to raise it, then that's not counting the processing and stuff that we paid for the chicken plucker and all those tools and stuff. Just
and
the chicken
fuel
plucker
to go buy the food and your time and your effort.
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of what I was mentioning much earlier in the chat, was the difference between Joe Morgan. I hadn't said hello yet. Good evening, brother. Klingon Princess, how do you do? You were in here much earlier. You got home well and safe, I see. Thank you for jumping back in. But yeah, this is something I was talking about much earlier, is the difference in meat prices between where you guys are. Militant Roots, good to see you. And the meat prices where we are. And it's like double, really.
I was just thinking about that. Some of the reason why things may be a little cheaper here is because Lake Charles, which is the city that's nearest us, has a seaport, a rail depot.
Wait. Auntie T is in the house. Everyone in the chat, say a nice hello to Tony Four. Auntie T is in the house. How you doing, Auntie T? It is lovely to see you. I apologize, Brett. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
that's okay.
I don't care who I'm on. I could be on with the Angry Prepper, and I'll stop the chat for Auntie T every single time.
So Lake Charles has a seaport. There's rails that run through it, and we're along Interstate 10. So major, there's a lot of traffic that comes through here as far as shipping.
Right. Well, a lot of the farmers here grow their own, and we have a lot of meat markets that purchase directly from the farmers here.
We have a rice mill not far from us that we like to get 25-pound bags of rice there for $10. So
see, all right, that's an interesting bit of information that a lot of North Americans don't know, that rice is actually grown and produced in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Here, everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere you drive through here it's either a rice field or a crawfish field, and it depending on the season, the time of the season, because they use them as both.
Right, the same fields. They They rotate rice or crawfish.
Janzu, I see you there. And that's a you know, when we talk about the differences between pricing of meats, especially, you know, say between where you guys are and you know, where I am, you know, that sort of geographical difference. Like obviously, you guys can tell I probably watch a lot of American channels and a lot of American YouTubers, right? And um, and I watch a lot of channels that are about frugal cooking and this and that. And, you know, some of them say you go get yourself one of those at the grocery store, one of those pre-cooked rotisserie chickens for $5 and you take it home. Well, those are $12 up here,
Oh,
right? We don't get a $5 chicken. Milton,
Wow.
yeah, we got thousands of acres of apple orchard. I got a video loaded up in my camera here. I'll probably post tonight or sometime tomorrow, early in the day, just about being resourceful in how we look for food, because I believe it's going to be harder and harder to come by, more and more expensive, and like I said earlier, if you're in an apartment and you got a little patch of dirt somewhere, or a porch or a deck, put a bucket on it. Put a toad on it, and you can grow some food, right?
yeah. If it'll hold dirt, it'll hold a plant.
Exactly. And
Yep.
I mean, you know, it's funny about the whole gardening aspect of you know, for me, the preparedness mind, the whole gardening aspect is people want to complicate it. And I mean, I think about it and they're like, what do you do for this? And what do you do for that? And don't get me wrong, certain things, certain vegetables do prefer a certain environment or certain nutrients and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I mean, let's face it, man. A seed is a seed. And what does a seed want to do?
It wants to grow.
It wants to grow. And all we have to do is provide it with nutrients, sunlight, water, and the proper growing conditions, right?
Yep. Right.
So, like, it can take a little bit of research. Say between sweet potatoes and potatoes, they may like two different things, or it's the sweet potatoes and strawberries, or corn, right? They require different things. Educate yourself on how to do it. It's real freaking simple, and do it before the power goes out, guys and gals.
Oh, definitely.
Either that or have a resource, a physical resource, a book on hand.
Yep.
Even still, practicing your preps and getting things in order before the shit hits the fan is the right way to go.
Practicing
you know
the
what?
skills.
Exactly. Like, okay, this is a perfect little segue into this portion of the discussion. You're a fireman, and I'm sure part of your career has been about educating the public. And
Yes.
you know, part of our preparedness should include a plan of how to get out of your house safely in the event of a fire, right? So
Right.
it's just it's part of having a prepared mind for whatever might be the case, right?
Yeah, and you know, since you bring that up, you know, you want to have a fire escape plan. Of course you do.
Absolutely.
And
Go on,
that
Brett,
goes to
lay it on
show you, along that same line of thinking, no matter how unlikely something is to happen, there's still a chance that it can. I see lives changed in an instant, almost on a daily basis. You know, it's not fun, but it's reality.
Wow, it's funny. You know, the way the world has been moving in the last 2 years, like you
Robert
say,
Bates, I'm a career fireman.
it's moving so fast. And
Yeah, things are going in a particular direction very quickly lately.
Yeah, well, they sure are. They sure are. And doing all this homesteading, prepping, urban homesteading, urban tiny gardening, tiny space gardening, container gardening, prepping. It's not cheap. You don't just go to the homesteading store and lay down a big old fat wad of cash and take all the stuff home and say, okay, I'm a homesteader now. Or you don't go to the prepping store and whack down a big old fat
Some
stack
people
of
do.
cash. Because who's got a fat stack of cash to lay down? It takes time.
There are people that do. There are people that have an endless amount of cash, and it's buy this and buy that and buy this equipment and that equipment to raise chickens.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
I don't need that.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't need all that. I have a $10 tote from Lowe's. I got the biggest tote that I could find, a $6 bag of pine shavings, a feeder, and a waterer. Done.
Yeah. Hey,
put a light on the top. I don't need this fancy smancy $60 heat contraption. I've got a $10 light fixture. You plug it in and set it. I'm gonna have to do a video.
You don't need a lot of money. One of our most recent videos is we just set up a bunch of totes in the backyard. It's cattle lick tubs. It's cattle farmers buy them full of. It's a mineral that the cows lick, and then
it's salt lick.
Salt lick. There you go. And then the tubs are empty, and the cattle farmers most of the time they'll either give them away or sell them for cheap.
A lot of people just throw them away.
8 of them for free, and we filled them up with $2 bags of soil, and now we've got plants in.
All right, Brett. My farming. Okay, for any of you guys and gals that don't know me, I grew up on an operating 360-acre beef and hog farm. Okay, and it was an old country homestead, and that was our job. That was our living. Okay, that's how we made our income. But okay, Brett. So your fireman's brain is about to lick my farming preparedness brain. Okay. And what brought this to my mind was you brought up that salt lick. Okay. So we used to buy them in great big huge cubes. They come in great big huge solid cubes, or you can buy it by the 50-pound sack, right?
Okay.
Where it's kind of a powder, and it's that salt, mineral, calcium stuff.
Right.
You give out to the cows, and they'll stand there and they'll lick that all day long until their tongue goes raw. But we had on the old farmstead, in the kitchen, we had it was a wood burning stove, but it was like a skinny one. It was a 2-burner, one front and one back, and it was a little cook stove. Right. So obviously there's a chimney that goes up from that. Well, we had a chimney fire one time, and my dad climbed on the roof with a bag of those mineral salts, dumped it down the chimney, put the fire out.
Okay.
Now I don't know if it's the property in the chemicals or the minerals inside of that salt mineral product, but
okay, if I could go a little sciencey on you here for a second.
Get frickin' fire on me.
Fire needs 3 things to survive.
Air,
it needs heat, it needs oxygen, and it needs a fuel source, something that will burn.
Yeah.
So if you take away any of those legs of, we call it the fire triangle, take away any of those and the fire goes out. The reason for water, which is the most common thing that puts out fire, that takes away the heat.
Right.
If you're able to take away the oxygen, which is most likely what those minerals did, it smothered the fire.
I think so, Brett.
Or you could take away the fuel.
I just thought it was a cool little interesting talking point. And I mean, it's one of those things you see in your life maybe once, and I've seen it once. And you know, it, obviously, I've got a fireman on the frickin' panel here. I kind of wanted to bounce that off you.
Yeah. And a lot of times your dry chemical fire extinguishers, which is the red ones that you can you see them in stores everywhere, and you can get them for your kitchen.
Yes, sir.
Those are it's a dry. I forget what the chemical is. I think it's carbon dioxide. I'm not even sure, but whatever the case, that smothers the fire. It takes away the oxygen from the fire. That's what it does.
All right, Brett. K0MRD radio prepper is chiming in with halon.
Halon. Yeah.
To my understanding, how did you clean the chimney yourself? Well, we'd stand up on the roof and we'd run some sticks down. It was a big old brush, like just any other regular type chimney. But radio preppers asking about halon, and to my knowledge, that's for more of an electrical type fire. But what halon will do, in my opinion, or to my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, brother, but halon will take the oxygen completely out of the air. And if there are any humans in that area, they are fooked.
That's right. So we I don't have much experience with the halon extinguishers, but I do know that fact. It will take away all breathable oxygen as well.
Yeah, I do understand they're installed in large, sort of computer-based facilities.
Yeah. The fire tetrahedron is the more. I know you're joking there, Robert, but the fire tetrahedron is the more updated rather than the fire triangle. They added a fourth leg onto it, which is the chemical chain reaction. But that's a little complicated. I just wanted to kind of keep it simple.
I get that. Brett, let's just take a second to go ahead and recognize Chad again.
Sure.
I see Navy Vet in here, and I just wanted to take a minute to go ahead and thank all of our veterans. Devil Dogs in here has also served. Brett, you've served and are still serving with your your fireman career. So that's great.
Right.
It's very, very much appreciated. So thank you to all current and former brothers and sisters who have served. Thank you for your service. It's highly important to do. If you value your freedom, thank a vet. And I don't care if it's a policeman, a fireman, a military member, an EMS worker, or whichever. Independent. I see you there. Welcome. Devil Dog, yes, I have had the pleasure of serving my country and yours and the sort of allied nations.
Yeah, I didn't.
Did it
I didn't have the opportunity.
Was I happy to do it? Yes, I was.
I didn't
Would
serve
I do it
in the
again?
military.
I would. I didn't hear you, Brett. Okay, listen. Sorry, I'm gonna.
I apologize.
No. That's me talking over you. I'm gonna shut my pie hole here and give you the stage.
I just wanted to. I just wanted to add to what you were saying. I didn't serve in the military, but I served my community daily. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and well, I tend to make a point of thanking you for that fairly often. So, not just you, but I mean the Angry Prepper. He made his career as a fireman as well, right? And Prepper Nurse 1 as a nurse serving the community, right?
Right. Yeah, but it takes all kinds. I was saying that in our live stream Thursday night. Whether it's a fireman or a garbage man,
Yeah.
no one is more important. Firemen aren't really. I don't want to be considered a hero. I have a job to do and I do it. I'm a servant, a public servant, and so are your politicians. So remind them of that.
There's Mad Shad.
Mad Shad.
If you guys and gals like to have a little bit of fun, go check out Mad Shad's channel. He's also a fellow former service member. Thank you, Mad Shad, ever so much for your service. Very interesting mind on him. And go on and check out his, when he gets back on to do his Saturday evening trial by axe. He puts a world leader, a bad man or woman, on the board, and we pick numbers and throw axes at them. It's a really good time. Really good time. Hoorah! Yeah, Shad. Yeah, brother. I hope you and Charity are both well. Yeah, guys and gals. Hey, if I've got an awesome moderator in here, bang down a link from Mad Shad. Stu! Love you, bro.
Already done. Yep.
Stu is an awesome Texas brother. But yeah, I mean, let's even, like you mentioned the garbage men, the people who come around and pick up the trash, or the recycling or that kind of stuff. Well, what about a guy like Sean in Alaska? A baker. He's a baker for a lot of his career. Where does your bread come from, right? Who's making your bread? And I'm not just asking you, Brett. That's for the whole entire chat.
Yeah.
Don't forget to thank your baker, right?
Right.
Don't just go
anytime that a service is provided to you, think of the person that is providing that service and be sure and thank them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what they do has value. Your mechanic. Are you a mechanic? Nope. Hey, you know what? Maybe you're a great scientist of this kind or that kind, but Lone Star Pioneering, thank you for your service, right? Whatever you don't do, somebody else does it. Make sure you thank them for it.
That's right.
Don't just go into the baker and when you pick up that loaf of bread off their shelves, whether it's $2 or $5, don't just huck that change at them and leave with your loaf of bread under your arm. Make sure to thank them.
Yeah, and if your burger comes back wrong from the burger joint, consider what's happening. There might be a kid on the other end of that speaker that's just doing their best.
Exactly. That's a really, really great point there. Oh man, I've seen so many videos of stupid people just completely, like at drive-thrus, completely teeing off on the person who's just taking the cash and passing them the food. Well, they didn't even make the food. It was, it was somebody else.
Right.
They got 100 orders or whatever. And hey, maybe, sorry, you got the burger that was meant for the guy behind you or whichever. Right. Don't.
Yeah.
We all need to remain calm.
I say that from experience, I guess. Our daughter Abby, that's our youngest daughter that still lives at home with us. She's 17. She has 2 jobs. She works for a couple of fast food joints, and she'll come home sometimes and just talk about it was a day full of rude customers, or sometimes she'll come home and say, I had an amazing customer, and that customer really stood out in her mind. I'd rather be that one customer that stood out and that she thought was amazing.
What? I want to stop you right there just for a second. And It's not because I want to shut down what you're saying, because I believe that's important.
Right.
But there's a little something here in chat that Joe just shared that I kind of want to bring up. What the heck were you saying there, Joe? Yeah. I think Joe said it's your burger, not your meds. Don't freak out about it. Okay, I'll tell you what, Joe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I'll never bitch out the person if they put mashed potatoes on the side instead of French fries or whatever. You know what I mean? That's not what's going to happen. I'll be pretty calm about that. But I'll tell you what, Joe. I have stood a doctor in the lobby of a hospital and stood them up and chewed them up and down. And I said, "You effed this up. Your compadre, another doctor, effed that up. I'm not even supposed to be here." And, you guys and gals know me. I wear a camo all the time, and I'm a former service member. I stood that doctor up and I said, "Do you know what would happen if every military person effed up the way you guys did? You'd be speaking frickin' German right now." I laid into her. And, I don't care if it's a man, woman, doctor. I don't care. To me, they're a used car salesman. If I go onto their lot asking them about a truck, with a problem with my feet or something like that, and they say, "Well, have you stopped smoking yet? Or have you had the pat on the shoulder?" I'm like, "You're not listening to me, pal. You're not listening to me. Right? You're not here for my interest." But yeah, it's important to respect and thank the people who do a good job at what they do. And I don't care if they're a baker, a butcher, or a candlestick maker, doctor, mechanic, fireman, the military member. If you do a good job at do what you do, make sure you do a good job. But it's important to thank people for their service of what they do.
Yeah, you never know. You can make someone's whole day just by saying thank you. You don't know what that person's going through.
Or telling them how much you like their hat.
Yeah.
Any little thing. But
did you see what Amy added in the chat there? Just up there a little bit. She said the saddest part is that Abby said that Sunday after church is the worst day for rude people, and this is true. This is true. I've personally seen people coming from church and just being straight assholes.
That's terrible.
And as a Christian myself, I'm ashamed by those people.
All right. Well, I mean, you know what, Brett? You know me well enough that you know that I'm also a Christian. And Dale Homestead, I see you there. Welcome. But you also know that I do not subscribe to organized religion. Religion and Christianity are two completely different things.
Very much so.
All right, but it goes to show you exactly how much that is the truth. Because, when you get out of church and, you've been sitting in your pew for an hour or two listening to how you are supposed to treat people, and then you go to the nearby fast food place and you're rude to a 16, 17-year-old kid because they calculated your money wrong, or they put tomatoes on your burger when you didn't want to. I mean, that really shows how shallow people really are.
Exactly.
You're supposed to go to church to be in the presence of the Lord, and you're supposed to come out changed. If you haven't been changed, either you're there for the wrong reasons, you're not there in the presence of the Lord is not in that building, or you just missed it because you're whatever.
Brett, I'm in the presence of the Lord at all times. He is
You are
free
right, brother.
and omnipresent. He is everywhere and free to everyone at all times. But some of
That's
those
right.
a-holes that go to church and lay down their $20 and sit there for an hour or two, or even 10%, whatever it is that they give. That's not a me thing. That's a them thing. And then they think they can go and be assholes to the rest of the world. They're an a-hole for 6.5 days a week, and then they think they can go to church on Sunday, throw down $20, and everything's good. That's just an a-hole that's stupid.
Well, I can tell you, I grew up in a particular religion that I will not name.
In my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, you're right. That particular church that I was in, basically taught that you could do whatever you wanted to do all week long, and you go and you confess, and it'll all be good. Whatever.
That's not the case. If you're gonna run through life being an asshole and go to church for 2 hours a week, karma's gonna come and get you. I'll tell you what. The Lord.
One thing my grandmother drilled into us when we were younger is whatever you do, whether you're at home, whether someone can see you or not, you might be in a bathroom, in a closet, outside, or in a public, crowded public space. Whatever you do, someone is always watching. So what you do, if you're doing something, ask yourself, am I okay with doing this in front of Christ himself?
Okay. Amy, I couldn't agree more. And South Colorado and the chatty daddy dudes here is saying some people just go to church to look good in their community. And I quite agree.
Yep.
How you doing, sis, by the way?
What you do and say when you think no one's looking, that's integrity.
Right.
All right. And that's kind of how I try to operate as well. We all have to try. If we want to be a godly person, we have to try at it. It doesn't come easy. It comes with trying. You have to try and try and try and try all the freaking time. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But in my mind, trying to be a godly person is, it's a lot of work, and that's okay. But oh goodness gracious, I had a point I wanted to make, and I totally freaking lost it.
Oh, no.
That happens in life, guys and gals. It'll come back to me. Oh, whoa. Got it. My mind went back into recall. Thank you, God. It's about doing the right thing when the right thing is the hardest thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the point in time when your mind and your heart accepts, it's like, all right, this is what we need to do. Regardless of how hard it may or may not be. It's you've always got to make the hardest choice. It seems to me, and
it's tough to do the right thing when no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
You know what? For me personally, anyways, when I come to the point where I accept that, okay, all right, God gave me this. This is what we're doing. All right, let's just go ahead and do it. The decision becomes easy. Wolfang, I see you there, brother. Because I know where it comes from. I know it's the right thing to do. I know there's no other choice. So just move forward.
Yep.
Just move forward and do it. But with that, guys and gals,
Senior moment.
I think it's probably time to wind this up. Brett and Amy have been so gracious with their time with us to share 2 hours.
I just realized. I just looked up and realized it's been 2 hours. That was a fast
it's
2
a
hours.
full-on 2 hours now, and they've been so kind to share their 2 hours. And okay, between the two of them, that's 4 hours. With me, that's 6 hours. You got 6 hours of freaking awesomeness. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. 6 hours of awesomeness here. I think we had a fantastic chatty daddy do with homesteading / prepping. I think we covered a lot of bases on it. Elizabeth Roja, I see you there. Welcome. If there's any other talking points Brett and Amy would like to make, I understand you probably you got stuff to do, or like if you're not doing stuff, you're not doing stuff. But if you got
we're good if you're good, because it's dark outside now and raining. So.
All right, well we can carry on this chat. It's not like I want to shut it off. I want to let you guys have the rest of your evening back. If that's what you guys and gals want, I'm okay.
We don't need to shut down right away. We don't need to shut down right away. Don't have anything pressing happening. I do want to say thank you for all the new subscribers. It's been awesome.
Oh well, you know what? You know me, Brett. I like to hold up my brothers and my sisters, especially good channels. You know
Right.
that. You know that, right?
I find loads of awesome channels in your streams.
I'm glad we fit into that category.
Oh man, well, I don't think we'd have known each other all this long if we didn't think the other was cool. But
right. There was a time.
To you folks in the chat who are new to Brett and Amy and their homesteading channel, the Broussards, I trust them so much that, okay, I'm in Canada and they're in frickin' Louisiana. They actually administrate large portions of my channel. Do you understand that? That's the level of trust. That's how much I love these guys. They have my banking information. Right?
I have your YouTube password, so I can shut you all down or change your name to Pasta Man.
I gotta be real careful with Amy. Like, we like to sass each other. We love to sass each other, and that's just a good bit of fun between friends. But yeah, she could totally shut my lights off if she wanted to. She sure could. She could change up my bank account.
I would never do that.
She could transfer all that money into yen if she wanted to. Wolfgang, thank you for your service, brother. Thank you. Again, I'll just throw that out there because Wolfgang just reminded me he was
right back.
Military service as well. Thank you, Wolfgang, for your service. Thank you to all former and current military service members. It's very, very much appreciated.
I know Lori asked earlier if we still have bees, and yes, we do still have the bees. However, they have been struggling a little bit since the big hurricanes, and we probably won't collect much, if any, honey this year. But we're putting them basically into rebuilding mode.
Okay. So you've got 2 hives, I think, Amy, right?
We have 3 now.
3 hives? Okay. Did you experience any loss of any hives over the winter?
After the ice storm, we lost one of the hives. We had 2, and we lost 1, and we purchased 2 more swarms to rebuild with.
All right.
And so they're really building. I don't know if since the storms we lost a lot of pollen in the area and things like that. They really struggled. So we're right now we're
immediately.
feeding them. We're feeding them. We've got pollen patties inside the hives
Well,
to
you
feed
have to
them off
feed them
of.
over winter. A hive needs to weigh 90 pounds when you put them to bed.
Yep.
In my experience, and it's been decades since I've had bees, but Elizabeth Roja, no, I haven't had any difficulty getting prescriptions. Um, just a question from the chat, but
Yeah.
what's your take? Okay, like obviously you got bees, so you're probably following some other channels that do bee stuff and talking to other homesteaders and whatnot that have bees. What's your experience with learning if, especially over the last winter, with other folks losing colonies?
Um, Here we lost. There was a lot of loss after the hurricanes. The hurricanes actually put us in a stage where there was no pollen
Yeah,
because it blew everything around too much.
yeah,
And then we were hit with the hard winter shortly after
yeah.
with our
Okay,
snowmageddon,
so
and
it
there
makes
was a lot
perfect
of loss.
sense. Yeah, okay, it makes
Yeah,
perfect sense that uh, you're gonna, or your area is gonna need like a sort of a 2-year normal uh, climate recovery for
right.
those
And
bees
I
that.
I think they're doing that now. The swarm season this year started really early, which I was very surprised after the last couple of years that we've had, with all the rough weather. But we've had more spring-like temperatures this year, which is really odd for us this time of year. Normally we're in the, holding at 80, 85 by now. And like I said, we had a cool front come through today and it was 68 degrees at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. But there's a lot more things blooming earlier this year, and the bees are out and about and they are building. So hopefully we have. This is going to be a rebuilding year, and by next year we should have some really good honey.
That's awesome. Guys and gals in the chat, if you could, please share this out because I think it's amazing, amazing talk about homesteading slash prepping. They're linked, um, and I think you you guys and gals that know me, that I think the more eyes are on all this stuff, uh, the more people can be informed. And Arnold Schmidt, am I going live tomorrow? No, I never ever go live on a Tuesday. Sometimes at random, but my typical ones are Monday evening, like tonight at 7. And because it's an earlier time slot, what I like to do is host wonderful, wonderful friends and family, brothers and sisters like Brett and Amy, or Sean in Alaska, or Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It, for important chats like Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It. It was an in-depth gardening chat that lasted 2 hours. Sean in Alaska, he's doing the off-grid in Alaska thing. Totally different subject, but with related ideas. 2-hour stream. Absolutely amazing stream. This one here, homesteading slash prepping stream, with my brother Brett and my sister Amy. Very, very important information to convey. A couple of hours. I think it's fantastic. It goes off without a hitch because we're all kind of buddies. You know what I mean? We're buddies. And it's not a Q&A. It's not an interview, if you will. It's a conversation between friends, between like-minded people, right? And that's kind of how I like to approach these, right? What type of
That's how
honey?
you learn the most information too.
Exactly. Yeah, just in a natural free-flowing chat. But South Colorado is asking you guys, I think, what kind of honey do you usually produce?
Just wildflower, random.
Yeah, it's a wildflower honey. We don't we don't plant a particular crop of anything. The bees are there. We've got, is it 60 acres of wildflowers and blackberry and dewberries
Just
and
overgrown.
goldenrod and yeah. In the fall we get a lot of goldenrod honey. In the spring we normally get the Chinese tallow.
Tallow tree.
It's mixed with clover and dewberries, and it's really a wonderful tasting honey.
And we use the, what is it, 400 micron filter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a raw honey. I mean, we gently filtered. It's got the pollen flavor in it. It's just people have told me that it's just superb. It's really good honey.
I don't know if you can see Steve-O there in the chat. He's got a question for you. What's your favorite thing to do when you're homesteading? On your homestead? When you're homesteading?
First, let me say my least favorite thing to do on the homestead is to weed gardens. Y'all can have that mess.
I hate doing dishes.
I don't mind dishes.
I can do dishes and laundry and housework.
But my most favorite thing is probably cooking a new dish from scratch. Just, because it's just a brand new experience with the flavor. Probably.
And see, I think
I like to eat.
Mine is starting seeds.
Yeah, that's a good thing too.
I love seeing the new growth.
I love to cook myself. I absolutely love to cook, and this is something Brett and Amy will know, and many of you in here that are longer time viewers of mine will also know. I've been to culinary school. I've had my own catering business. I've owned a restaurant. I love being in a kitchen and creating when I have a brigade to work. And part of that brigade is the dishwashers. I'll tell you what, I always paid my dishwashers top dollar. Always did. Because that's one of those things, like the trash man comes around and takes your garbage. You better be nice to that guy. Right?
Yeah.
Dishwasher, best pay them well. Why? Especially if they do a good job. I don't want to pay anything for a lousy dishwasher, but for a good dishwasher, I'll pay him extra to make sure he comes back again. You understand?
Yeah.
My dishwasher is electric.
Nothing I love better than being in a kitchen, fully stocked, good tools, good pots and pans, good equipment, and a brigade to work around me. Because when I'm in a kitchen environment like that, I'm kind of like the I'm not sure what you call that guy. Is it the conductor of an orchestra?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I'm kind of like that guy.
Yeah. We have a couple questions here in the chat.
All right. Yeah, go on ahead, please.
Okay. Please. Sunshine Me says, can you use local honey to produce a topical healing salve for skin lesions like Manuka? I don't know that for sure, but there is one of our clients, one of our customers does buy honey to put on the skin of her legs. She says it helps.
Yep.
Just that. Yep. So that's without turning it into
my dad was fighting those infections on his foot. My mom was mixing raw honey with our raw honey with an antibiotic that they were getting from the doctor. It was supposed to be an IV antibiotic. It was some kind of powder that they were getting, and she would mix it with the honey and put it on his foot, and that was the only thing that was helping to control the infection.
So Manuka honey is one of the best out there. It's also one of the most expensive. But you mentioned your Etsy store. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to lay down a little bit about that. And, maybe one of our awesome moderators in here, Brett, you're one of them. So you could lay down to your Etsy store. Just, talk to the folks a little bit about what you offer there.
Okay, the Rooster is asking, Brett and Amy, can you all grow citrus where you are? Yes. We actually have a what's the name of that orange tree? Satsuma.
I think that's the link. If you guys could,
We have a Satsuma tree on the property.
well,
We
it
have
didn't
a
make a
couple of
link.
apple trees here. They are
We'll try
the
that
low
again.
chill requirement apples.
Heirloom permaculture is here.
And we can grow lemon and lime and pomegranate, and there's a wide variety of things that we can grow here because of our long growing season.
Oh, okay, Amy. You know what? That brings up a short talking point I'd like to make is for anyone who's either on a new homestead or on a new location, and you plan to be there for a good minute. If you're looking at putting in fruit trees, and now this is something I learned from Quebec Homestead. Put in dwarf variety fruit trees, and they will produce much more quickly. However, their life expectancy will only be 30, 40 years, rather than if you put in a regular type apple tree, it'll last 100,
Right.
however many years. Use a dwarf variety, and you will harvest more quickly.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
That's
know
good to
that
know.
either.
I won't need it after another 30, 40 years anyway.
No, but your children will. That's the point.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, for folks that are getting on a new property, and you know, like the whole idea here, Brett, is to reinforce the idea of growing food. Okay, and
Yeah,
it's not just vegetables; it's fruits too, right? And
Yep.
fruit trees produce fruits. You can harvest more quickly with the dwarf variety. Homestead Aquarium.
Well, on that topic though, if you're just starting out, that's the first thing you need to put in is trees, whether it's shade trees,
I
fruit
just did a
trees,
video
nut
on that
trees,
recently. Yeah,
because your trees are going to take the longest thing, the longest time to
Yeah.
start producing.
that's a mistake that we made.
Yeah.
We turned this place into a blank canvas, and man, the summers are brutal.
Well, they're brutal anyway, but now they're even worse.
But they're worse with no shade. We took out shade trees and everything.
Gma Merkel, you may have to get some cattle panel and wrap it with chicken wire to keep the deer off of your fruit trees. But Raptor Ranch, the rum ice cream turned out awesome.
What?
I just lost my computer.
I'm just gonna have to give a big old thumbs up on that. But yeah,
South Colorado said something about our free shipping on our Etsy store. The shipping is included in the price that I set because I get the price directly from the postal service, and I include that in the price of the product, so I don't have to sit and figure out different shipping for different people. I have a roundabout. And if it's a couple dollars short or whatever, we just cover it. It's not that big of a deal.
I haven't shipped a whole lot of stuff out. Well, I don't sell anything, so Barry, yeah. Somebody was Raptor Ranch is saying they made some rum ice cream that turned out freaking amazeballs. But yeah, I haven't shipped out a whole lot of stuff. I do ship a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I sent Sean in Alaska some stuff, and I sent some stuff down to Southern Boy Prepper and some other stuff down to Tennessee, Michigan. I just go to the post office and I pay whatever they want, and they're stupid expensive, stupid. And they suck at what they do. It's not just
yeah. That's why we stopped shipping. People are still asking us about the elderberry cuttings. We used to make, or we still do make, hardwood cuttings of our elderberries to share, but we stopped shipping them because the shipping costs have gotten much higher, and the the mail has gotten less reliable. So I don't want to.
You're being awfully generous by saying less reliable. You could have chosen
Well,
a number of different words to describe that.
right.
Brother.
Well, the problem with the post office, we used to be able to guarantee that we could ship elderberry cuttings in 2 to 3 business days. So we would ship out on Monday, and it was pretty much guaranteed that our customers would have their elderberry cuttings by Tuesday to Wednesday. And they would be in great shape that way. I was able to pack them in such a way that they would stay moist and wet for that amount of time period. Now we're having so much trouble with the post office. It might take them a week or more to get something. I don't want to charge someone for an elderberry cutting that they might get it in 2 weeks and it's a dead stick by the time they get it because the post office took so long to get it to them.
Yeah, we're not in the business of making money. We're in the business of helping people to be successful.
Right.
All right. That's a little bit of a talking point I want to make too, Brett. And this has probably happened with your YouTube channel as well as mine. I've been approached by some companies that are interested in participating in business so that I can promote their product for them. And I'm considering doing it. And the thing I don't want to do is I don't want to profit from it. I want my subscribers to incur savings if there's going to be some kind of partnership.
Right.
I don't want to profit from it. And, there's no way I will engage in that business if it's something I wouldn't think of using to begin with.
Sure.
So that's the first bit of criteria, and the second bit of criteria is they need to extend the discount to my customers, not me.
Yeah, well, I'd also, I mean, look, I don't have any sponsors. I've chosen not to go that route, at least at this point. But I would recommend to let them know that you're going to check out their product and see if you want to promote it to your people before you commit to doing so.
Well, okay, Brett. You see, that's the thing is I still have to get back into my very dark and neglected email. Yeah, send all complaints to my email. I'll never see them because I just don't check email. I don't know what it is. I try to skip that phase of my life or whatever. But I was texting with someone like 5 years ago, and they said, "Well, what's your email address?" And I said, "People still use email?" It's like, well, I got you on text here, like. But anyways, so I got to get back to them, and I have to tell them what my parameters are. That send me a kit plus have one on deck so I can give it away to my subscribers, and have a coupon code that can permanently be on my channel. Don't give me the money. Give the savings to the people.
Right.
And that's the only way I can feel good about it. I've been struggling with that for a long time. And yes, I have to get back into the email and address that. But that's how I figured out how to do it for myself anyways.
If I could address the chat here for just a minute. People are talking about bananas. We have bananas. I think they're the blue, is it blue ice cream banana? I'm not even sure. It's some that we got from my godfather.
It's a type of ice cream banana. I know that.
It's a small banana tree. This is what I'm talking about here. In case you don't.
Hey, Brett.
Yeah.
Keep John on. I need the toilet again.
All right, bro.
All right.
So we've been growing bananas here successfully for a few years now, and we've gotten all the way to the point of harvesting some of them. And today we actually we took some of the plants and moved them to a new section of the yard to create a new pod of bananas so that we can have even more. And that's what we like to do with our stuff is if it's doing well, have more. Why not? We have the space for it.
Well, we like to propagate things and share with people too.
Yeah.
We share a lot of plants.
We do. Elderberry and comfrey and my grandma's old heirloom rose bush. It moved with us twice. I got it. I dug it up from her yard with permission after she had passed, and it's my rose bush now. And it moved with us twice. It lived happily under an oak tree at our old house, and now it's living happily next to the pond here at the new house. And I've been able to successfully propagate off of that rose bush a couple of times. We've got one new bush that's well established, and we've got another 12 cuttings that we're trying to get going, and so far so good. So we take the suckers off of the tomato plants. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it's a little piece of the tomato plant that doesn't really belong there, and you pluck those off. Well, instead of just tossing those, we put those in soil, and they can make new plants, and we've been rather successful. In fact, that was one of our very first YouTube videos way back in 2018.
Wow.
Was doing that.
Was it that long ago?
It was.
Wow.
4 years. 4 years we've been on YouTube.
But that's a way that we can share plants with other people that aren't able to purchase them on their own or grow them on their own.
We're terrible at aloe though.
Yeah,
because we just forget to bring it in when it's cold.
Well, I don't know. I think it needs some shade. And we just don't have it yet.
We're just not giving it what it needs.
It's missing something. Every aloe I try to grow is on the brink of death. But everything else, if it's a food or a medicinal or anything like that, I can usually grow it pretty well.
Yeah, the banana, it's the same banana trees that most people around here just grow for ornamental, for decorative. And but if you don't cut it to the ground every year like everybody does, then usually it
makes fruit the second year. It makes
a flower and makes bananas.
Yeah, aloe will burn in the sun. I think that's what was happening.
It burned in the cold too.
Well, sure, yeah. What else?
We have raised quail. We have some experience with quail. We mentioned earlier that we raise rabbits and we raise chickens. We have a couple free-range ducks as well.
Yeah.
They just kind of do their thing on the pond, and it's
in my garden.
2 female ducks. We got to keep them out of the garden because they want to lay eggs in there. And if they stay in the little corner like they have been, they're okay. If not, duck makes a great gumbo. I'm just saying. But we have experience with quail. We have some with goats. What else have we raised? Turkeys.
No, those evil birds.
No, turkeys weren't bad.
Turkey babies are like the stupidest bird you'll ever meet.
They
forget how to eat.
Finicky.
Yeah, they forget how to eat. They forget how to drink.
Big dreams.
I would, Amy. I would eat 1 gross of deviled quail eggs. 1 gross.
Oh, absolutely.
Just yum, yum. That must have been just a
little bite-sized deviled egg.
Actually, those were not really difficult to make. The hardest part was to cut them in half and get just the yolk out of them.
I think the hardest part would be peeling them all.
No, actually, that's the easiest part. With quail eggs or any egg,
there's a trick to it.
Once you boil the eggs, put them into a bowl, like a stainless steel bowl, and cover the eggs with vinegar and leave them overnight. When you get up in the morning, all that's left is the membrane. The shells are gone.
You peel the eggs like it peels off like paint. And it's
all
done.
right. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, because fresh eggs, I don't care what anyone says, are dang hard to peel.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you do them in an Instant Pot, they're not really that bad.
Yeah, Instant Pot, Instant Schmott. I got to explore that a little bit more.
And that's probably the main thing. I use my Instant Pot. Kate bought me an Instant
That's
Pot.
the only reason why we have one. Is
Right.
because Kate bought it for us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have bought it.
Wait.
And I'm glad she did, though.
Who is this Kate you speak of?
Kate from Inside Kate's Kitchen.
Inside Kate's Kitchen.
Come on now, Brett. Get your thumbs out, and if you haven't popped all of them off yet, why don't you hammer down a link, brother?
The Gators have not gotten my fingers.
And that's great. She's back on her original channel. How that happened, God bless. That's great.
I don't even know. I fixed it, and I don't even know.
Not a clue.
Simple Preparedness is asking, do you water glass eggs? I do not. I have an issue with finding the correct lime to use. And there's been several people around here that have done it, and they don't last near as long as they say they do. And I think some of it has to do with our warmer, humid temperatures.
And
I dehydrate eggs.
Let's not forget this, Brett. While you're into the interwebs there, why don't you punch up your video on dehydrating eggs? I've been sending people here all week.
Okay. If I could, let me say this real quick.
Dehydrated. And cornbread, not just dehydrated eggs, but people asking about cornbread. Been sending them over your guys' way.
Let me say this about Kate real quick, guys. Kate is recently widowed, super sweet lady, has been in our kitchen teaching us how to can meat.
She is freaking awesome.
An amazing lady.
She is an encyclopedia of knowledge.
If you're not subscribed to Kate, please do so. Let her know that the Broussards and Northshore Preparedness sent you over. She is live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Central. That would be 3 p.m. Eastern. And
it's a wonderful place to hang out.
A wealth of knowledge.
There's a lot of
ask her anything that she can usually answer.
And that's freaking awesome. Yeah, let's share a little bit of love with Sister Kate.
Okay, and of course, Anne Marie, I know you have dehydrated eggs. Have you dehydrated milk? I have not done milk. I really don't have a need for milk because me and Abby don't drink it. We have a lactose intolerance. So Brett's the only one on the homestead that drinks milk that way. And it's just cheaper for me to purchase.
We use it for recipes.
Bulk of powdered milk.
Okay, dehydrating eggs and cornbread.
Yeah, cornbread, brother. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking lately, and if you happen to have a video that you can find real quick, Brett, about chickens for meat birds.
Okay.
Because that was a question in Sean's live stream yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
The more links you can smash out, it's just going to give folks an opportunity to get to your page and get to know you guys and gals a little bit more. And you dropped your Etsy store already, I think. I hope.
Yes. Further up in the chat. Sure did.
All right. Well, I don't. Usually I'm kind of looking at you folks when I'm talking rather than looking at chat. So I don't always see what gets dropped, but
whoops.
Big dreams. That's an important point.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And thank you for bringing that up.
All right. So I put the dehydrating eggs, cornbread, and meat chickens videos.
That's a really good point that Anne Marie is making. And I put myself a note to do some research on that because you're right. Even though I don't drink it, I do use it in recipes. And it is crazy expensive right now. We are fortunate that we have bulked up on that over the past few years when it wasn't too horribly expensive. And so we have quite a bit of it around, but eventually that will run out.
We do know a guy though. It's illegal to sell, to buy and sell raw milk here in Louisiana, but we have a friend who sells jugs. They just happen to be so full of milk. There's so much milk in them. He sells the jugs.
Good for him. Okay, as simple as asking a great question about heat and rabbits.
Mm-hmm. Do your rabbits tolerate the heat okay, or do you use fans to keep them cool? Our rabbits are in and completely covered shed so that they are shaded all the time. They do not do as well in the heat as they do in the cold. They can tolerate the cold and never skip a beat. We don't have a fan on them right now, but the way our rabbit barn is set up, it's metal across the top, metal on the top around the sides, but the bottom is all open so that the air can flow through.
It's very drafty, and they are on the inside of the north wall, and it's open underneath them, so they never get sunshine on them in their cages.
Yeah,
but they can be a breeze. Now, I was going to make a joke and say that if we would ever do a video on our rabbits and put them on YouTube, they might have fans.
Stop. $22 for 8 ounces of dry milk.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Oh, love catfish. We don't have them here. Let's trade. What you got to trade?
Hey.
How do you ship catfish?
Hey, buddy. What do you think about this? What do you think about this, Brett and Amy? Why don't we throw this conversation back to the chat and ask them where their shortcomings in are their preps?
I like it.
Very good idea.
Yeah, let's make that interactive. I love to have, and I mean, you know, when I do interviews, I don't necessarily address the chat a whole lot, but I do like to have, anytime I do a live stream, I like to be to have it interactive for the folks in there. And all right, guys that are in the chat, where are your shortcomings in your preps? What are you about to do about that this year? What are you doing to prep this year? Or if you're going to Homestead, or putting in new gardens or new raised beds, or what are you doing? Come on now, this is a time for you guys to play. Okay.
I don't know what that was, but it shook the house. Hang on.
Jessica, say.
I don't know. I felt a rumble. It was odd.
Shook the house.
No, we are. I guess about a mile from the railroad, and sometimes we hear some rumbles from over there, but we felt that one. I don't know what that was.
Big Dreams is putting in raised beds. Simple is saying they need a dual fuel generator. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we got. That's what was given to us. It's a dual fuel.
GMA. More raised beds for sugar. Hey, Brett, let me ask you this. Let me share this with you and, you know, maybe suggest it's a possibility in your area. Okay, so here where I am, I'm right on the north shore of Lake Ontario. And under the lake, there are massive salt mines and lime mines. Okay?
Yeah.
So what I get here every day, every single day, at about 2:10 p.m. Is we have a short earthquake that lasts about a second or a second and a half, and that's them blasting under the lake.
Ah.
So could that be a thing if the railroad's doing some of that kind of business?
No, I don't think so. A couple of people in the chat mentioned thunder. That's possible. We did have some weather earlier today, so it might have only been thunder, hopefully. But now that you mentioned the salt domes under the lake, It makes me think about a disaster from the 80s that happened not far from me.
It's at the train yard.
It is at the train yard? Yeah,
Hang
they're
on a
doing
second.
something.
I want to stop you there, Brett, just for a second to address chat. Monty in here
Sure.
is chiming in, saying never enough water. Don't store water. Store some water. Yeah, keep some back. Keep some at home. But store water correction solutions, water cleansing devices, water cleansing options. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Cajun Homestead knows what I'm talking about. It was Lake Panur. I don't know how to spell that. Maybe the Cajun Homestead can help me. It was at Jefferson Island, and there was salt mining and also oil drilling happening at the same time. And somebody did some miscalculations, and the drilling rig or the drill bit punctured the salt dome, and yeah, the entire lake drained into the salt mines. And it took
that can be a thing.
I think it took 11 barges with it.
What we call that in human speak, we call that poor planning.
Yeah.
But I want to address what Big Dreams is saying about what water cleansing options do you recommend? Okay, well, first of all, you can collect water off of your rooftop. Just put a bucket down at the end of your drain. And a lot of people are going to crap on me for saying this. I don't care if you got an asphalt shingle roof or not. Put a set of pantyhose over top of it with an elastic band. Let the water flow down in, and that'll filter out those pieces. But boil it. I mean, boiling water is most basic, simple way we can do it. You can build a filter out of charcoal, stones, grass, and sand, and drain it through there. Okay. You can distill water, right? Like I have a still here. It's a countertop type of plug-in sort of appliance, if you will, and you can distill out water as well. You can get a Berkey. They're really expensive, but if you're on a homestead or wherever where you got bad water and you want to take all of the elements out of the water, get yourself a Berkey and or some other sort of filtration device, pour it through, and yeah.
We have the Alexa Pure, which is just like a Berkey.
Alexa Pure, okay, yeah. That
was actually another gift from a viewer.
So wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but this is something that I keep. This is what I keep in my bug out bag. This particular one is still in the package because it's meant for a giveaway.
Now,
when we hit 5,000 subscribers. This is Sawyer. I also have this is the Sawyer mini filter. I also have a Life Straw.
Yeah, I got. Hang on a second. I'm not sure if the Chatty Daddy Dude can see me here or not. I have a Life Straw right here as well, and I mean, this is something you'll throw it in your bug out bag, your bob, or keep in the glove compartment of your car in case whatever, right?
South Colorado Steader says DIY a Berkey, which you totally can, but the biggest cost of the Berkey is the filters, which you're going to have to buy anyway. So you just as well get the stainless steel. And
you know what? If you guys and gals see Ivan and Joe here in the chat, those are all right. Like first and foremost, they're MAG members of mine. Secondly, nice. They're moderators here on my channel. And you've seen them in my videos a couple of times. But they have a homemade Berkey system, Berkey filtration system. And I believe the only thing they buy from Berkey is the filters.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I will at one point in time, Ivan and Joe, we'll get together and I'll do a video just on your homemade Berkey system to show folks how they can do it. Big Dreams, they don't produce videos. They're not they're not content creators. But
says you
they
can
sure
use the
know how to
cheaper
do stuff,
filters
I'll
just
tell you
use
that.
4 of them.
And that's what
I
mag is
just made it
about.
home.
That's what having a mag is about. It's a mutual assistance group. It's
Yep.
one person helps the other, and we help each other back and forth. Like last week, I gave him a call after I was at the greenhouse, and I was at the greenhouse with the intention of spending $0. I went into pre-shop for this weekend coming up when I go up to my mother's for her birthday. I want to get some nice plants for my mother to take her. And I also wanted to ask about strawberries and the availability and varieties, and blah, blah, blah. But while I was in there, I noticed, holy crap, they got 6-packs of, those little cell packs for like $3.50 for a 6-pack of tomato plants. So I sent that over to Ivan. I got right on the phone, texting to Ivan when I got home. I said, "Hey, brother, I got something for you," because I knew he's getting ready to do his tomatoes and stuff. Hooga!
Hooga!
Yeah, Hooga Homestead. I love the name. Love it. But that's what MAG is about. It's about helping your brother and your sister, and knowing you can rely on your brother or sister helping you out.
Hey, Sean.
It's not about waiting on those folks to help you out whenever you need it. It's a two-way street.
Can't see.
Eddie!
Well, that was not late at all.
Eddie!
Hi.
Abby, our daughter Abby, and this is Chloe.
Poor little chihuahua was scared.
How's work going, young lady?
Busy. Very busy.
Good for you. Hey, look at you, Jack, driving around and such all by on your own, and you're getting to be a full-fledged human now.
Although she did get lost today. A little bit.
Awesome. That's part of the journey.
She missed her exit on interstate or off of the interstate and had to get Brett to help her like coordinate and figure out how to turn around and go the other way.
Sunshine says I just about crushed my pants.
Guys and gals, if you don't know Amy, she painted me a Christmas picture of a candy cane I put up on my couch behind me here at Christmas time. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I haven't sent some money down there for her trellis and for canvases and paints and this and that. But yeah, that young lady has developed very, very nicely. Good for her. She's freaking awesome. How about that? Hey,
I know.
Anyone in the chat who hasn't given a thumbs up yet, give a thumbs up for Abby.
Abby, he's peddling you for thumbs ups.
Yes, Brett, I totally sold your child. Abby, we'd like to see more cooking videos, dear.
Abby's too busy these days. She's making a life for herself.
Abby's working 2 jobs and prepping for college, and she's a full-time student high school student, and she she is doing it all.
But she
Applying for
still cooks and
scholarships to do that.
eats. Point the camera at her. Oh, and Brett.
Yep.
This is a talking point.
Hey,
Maybe it's not
let me
really
see you.
for the public.
Let me see you, Sean. Put yourself up.
I didn't hear you.
Let me see you.
Oh, crap! Sorry, I was just sat here jawing away, looking at you. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, this is something for you. Maybe it's not for everyone in the chat, but put up more videos, bro.
I know, right?
People are asking for them, and I forget who I was talking to last night. Maybe it was Northern Grow Hobbies, and we, your guys' name came up. Yes, we talk about you even when we're not talking with you. But yeah, I'm like, those guys need to make more freaking videos. And I said, well, they just did. They put one out with the hatching thing, right? But
if I could share with you privately, just between you and the 50 so people in the chat, here I get discouraged sometimes, and here's why. And I know a lot of it is my fault because I don't have an uploading schedule. But at the same time, okay, I have country internet. All right. So yesterday, first of all, it took a few days to collect enough footage to put together a video. Then it took me the time to edit the video. Then it took me, the video ended up being exactly 8 minutes. Take a guess how long it took me to upload that video. Take a wild guess.
4 hours.
3 hours.
Okay.
3 hours for an 8-minute video. Okay.
So
and then after all of that trouble, it's sitting at like 75 views right now.
I gotcha. But I'll tell you what, the more videos you put out, the more views you will get.
You're right.
It'll increase because YouTube will say, oh, this person is producing more product. We need to promote it more. And with that, I want to say that Thorhaven Farms is in the chat here as well. Absolutely wonderful channel.
Hey, and Christine Beadle. Christine is one of our channel members. Good to see you.
Wicked awesome. That's great.
40 hours here in the forest.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Sometimes,
imagine.
See, I have an iPhone and I have a Mac computer, so I can just wirelessly send photos and videos back and forth. Well, sometimes, like we do all of our filming with our iPhones. We send it over wirelessly to the computer so that I can edit. Sometimes when I'm done editing and stuff, I'll send it back to the phone and then go take a ride down the road where I know there's like this little good patch of service, and I can upload in like 15 minutes.
Okay, Thorhaven Farms is chiming in, just saying they can finally see grass there now. And y'all know that Sean in Alaska doesn't have that same case. He can't see grass yet.
No, he's still frozen. He needs like a roaster for his ground.
Well, yeah, I think they call it the breakup up there, and that's when the rivers break up, when all the ice goes out and stuff like that, and the land thaws out, and the water will sit on top of the land because the land gets super saturated because they get all kinds of snow.
Oh, wow.
But then there comes a point where the water drains off the land. And I mean, dang, like, oh, good Lord. You guys know, you got no idea how much I'm looking forward to Sean's build this year.
Oh, I know. I'm excited.
Because he's under so much pressure of what little time he has to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that he posted yesterday or the day before that that was the last last day of true darkness until sometime in the fall. Like the sun would not completely set until,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah. I'm not sure. We might have been on the phone at that time. Either that or I was typing or moderating something or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I believe I caught that as well. But I'm super, super interested in his journey this year. And you know what? It's nice to see how his channel is growing. And
yeah.
I think it's awesome to be a part of it, even if I'm just a viewer. And like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we talk via chat, or he'll give me a little dingle on the phone. You know, like you guys and gals. And I think it's awesome to be a part of it.
And we're so different. You were talking about grass there a minute ago. We're so different down here. There's a period in January and February that we mow less often.
Where you mow less often?
Yeah. That's considered the off season. I mean,
well, the ground is frozen here and there's 2 feet or 3 feet of snow on it. So there's no way you're going to run your garden tractor around on it. You know what I mean?
I just
just
can't
ain't
do
going to
that.
happen.
I could see visiting a place like that maybe, but as far as staying there, like cabin fever, no thanks.
Oh, I would have cabin fever terribly bad because I don't go outside when it's below 50.
Oh, people get outside and they do ice skating and, you know, they do trapping or they'll go skiing or snowmobiling. Like y'all got 4-wheelers. We got snow machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not me. There's not enough layers for me.
Like I said before, we can raise food year round. We just change up what type of food that we grow. We can overwinter cabbages and other brassicas and turnips and things
mustard
like that.
Greens, lettuce.
I just I can't imagine not gardening.
Thorhaven is saying they love snowshoeing. All right, I'll tell you what. One of the things I used to love to do when I was a kid, and I mean when I refer to being a kid, like you know, I'm talking about a young teenager. Okay, so that was like in the 80s. But my uncle, both my uncle and you got to have faith. Are you quoting Billy the Kid? Are you quoting
George Michael?
Geordie Michael? Yeah, you're quoting that. Whatever. If you want to, that's okay. You can. But one of the things we used to love to do was get out on those old snow machines our uncles had. Or our dads had that were like from the 60s or 70s. Just old beasts. They didn't go fast. They were heavy as you could possibly imagine. George Michael. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Billy. And welcome. It's good to see you. Well, we would get out on one of those old beasts. And even as teenagers, we would pack in some we'd take some aluminum foil and pack in some pork chops and a can of corn and some potatoes and stuff like that. And we would run out into the woods on a snow machine, and we'd find a little holler, a little dip in the land where we're protected from the wind. Wind's going over top. We'd sit there with our snow pants and our snowsuits on. And, you know, we might have been sipping a little beer or a little rum or whatever at the time. But we would sit down in there and make a little fire and cook pork chops over an open fire. Open the can of corn. You can boil it right in the can. Potatoes, you can just throw them right in the fire if you want to, or wrap them up in tin if you want, whichever. But rum, bacon.
We used to do pork and beans, like you were talking about corn in the can, or corn in the can. We used to do pork and beans that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do pork and beans that way. You got to do pork and beans a little bit slower because there's an awful lot more sugar in there. Don't get me wrong; it's not like corn ain't full of sugar, but that's what we used to do for fun as young teenagers. We just get on a ancient old snow machine, run back into the woods, drag a 6-pack of beer with us, and some pork chops and stuff. And no, we can't live on just rum, Gary. It's a nice dream, but no.
We still do that for fun, though, except without the snow.
But that's what we used to do for fun. Okay, so Amy, so you'd be doing it on a 4-wheeler when it's not it's stupid hot outside and like where you're melting in the shade. You do that in your winter, and you go on the 4-wheeler, take a pack of pork chops and such with you, and find a little holler, a little dip where the wind's not going to bother you or your fire. You can just sit down in there, put your feet up, and relax, and put a fire up and cook some pig or some bacon or whatever over a fire, and just sit down. And that's what we would do on a Friday or Saturday night, right? As country folk, country kids, right?
Yeah.
Wow, Thorhaven, that's between you and Loki. That's all good, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's interesting the different ways that people spend their time, especially as younger people. Given a different area, like if you're brought up in the city or if you're brought up in the country or whatever different opportunities you have, you exploit it in different ways, right? Like, you know, some of the things that we might have been doing out in the country when I was a kid might not have been completely by the book or legal. But
how dare you? I would never.
Yeah, no kidding, right? No kidding. But when you get kids that are in a city environment, when they're going out in their environment doing things that aren't necessarily legal, it's a different ball of wax.
It is. Yeah. Country kids get away with a whole lot more.
Well, there's certainly a whole lot less police officers around. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're more responsible. I mean, okay, like I come up on an operating farm. I was driving big tractors before I was 10, like big tractors. I was driving them before I was 10. So we learned responsibility. We learned the responsibility of how to operate either 4-wheelers or snow machines or tractors or whatever safely, right? Highly, highly important. You know, you get some kid that's in the city, and the first time they get in a car, you know, with the gas pedal, they pin it and wonder why they smashed into the oak tree. It's like, well, damn, son.
You know, that reminds me, one of my friends had a motorcycle. This was back when we were teenagers. And the other friend wanted to try it out. So he showed him, and the other friend, the friend that was new to driving the motorcycle, immediately smashed into a trash can. And he says, "Dude, you showed me everything but the brakes." It was great.
Well,
These are the same friends that shot y'all with Roman candles as y'all are passed out on the ground.
I have plenty of stories.
Good Christmas, Roman candles. Let's not even go there. That used to be a.
Well, he ran into a telephone pole and knocked
I
himself
forgot the
unconscious.
utility pole was in the middle of the yard, and I woke up next to it on fire.
What?
My
They
pants were
shooting
smoldering.
Yeah, they were shooting him with Roman candles while he was passed out on the ground.
Yeah, these are my
Holy-
friends.
Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, yes, Brett, I'm not laughing with you. Sorry, brother. Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, we were stupid too. Like when when I was a young, good Lord, when I was a young military service member, me and one of my other young fellow military service members had an apartment nearby the other. So we would hang out all the time. We would go bass fishing together, put chest waders on, walk out into deep, deep water. Like we're talking the Ottawa River. It's 100 feet deep and 800 feet across. It's a big freaking river, okay? So like we would do dumb shit like that. But we would also like fireworks back then wasn't a big thing for us, and it was rare if you could get them. So we would get those Roman candles, and we would stand on the street in front of our apartment building and fire them at each other, trying to get them off the road. And invincible, we're invincible.
Yeah.
Dumb assery.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
used to shoot him at cows.
Cows?
Yeah,
Damn, sister.
That's not fun.
You
just
just
to make them run.
no. You just keep shooting bobcats in the ear, honey. Goodness gracious. But yeah, we would have some dumbassery going on like that.
I had to do chores for a woman whose mailbox I blew up with an M80 firecracker.
Oh man.
All right,
That's-
you know what, Amy? Just for that, I'm going to put you big, just so that you can wear that embarrassment.
No, she was reading the comment that says that.
Oh.
See, don't blame it on me.
Oh no! Hang on a second. I'm trying to throw somebody under the bus, and like I want to throw you under the bus, Amy, but it's Barry. Okay, I apologize, Amy. I apologize.
You know the little firecrackers, and I'm talking about they're not really firecrackers, but they're like strings on either side. It's like little Chinese firecrackers.
The little pull snaps.
Yeah, you
or
pull
whatever.
them and they go. Pow. We used to
Barry?
tie those on mailboxes and
what-
just like stand down the road and watch people open their boxes.
What makes that so bad is that the neighborhood that she lived in was nothing but old people.
Well, wait.
Some
Amy.
of those old people look forward to that every year, and a lot of them got a kick out of it.
Amy, Brett, wait.
Yeah.
I got one sentence to say here. Barry, you're a dumbass, and I'm sorry, Barry. I love you, but you're a freaking dumbass, and I'm glad you had to do chores for her. But
You gotta-
all of the
You got to do stuff that you don't get caught.
all of the silly crap we do when we're kids because we think we're invincible, and we only really start to get serious about later life stuff, like kind of when we're 30 or 40, or maybe not even until 50. But a lot of the dumb shit that we did, it could have killed us And I say it on my channel all the time. I'm actually happy about people that die from stupidity. You know, if you're, yeah, no kidding, Thorhaven. I'm surprised I lived this long too. I don't know how many times I nearly drowned or got blown up or died this way or that way.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Me and a friend of mine were in the back of a pickup truck.
Oh,
The pickup truck was
go,
going 100 miles an hour. The pickup truck was going 100 miles an hour. My friend and I were sitting in the bed of it, and we dared each other to stand up.
God.
I'm here for some reason. I don't.
So basically, Brett, you a couple of Egypts.
Yeah.
And all right, so
you guys went and did donuts in the cemetery.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was an empty grassy area in the cemetery. We were doing donuts until the dew on the grass kept the car from turning like it should have. We hit a grave, and we never did that again because that was just a terrible feeling.
Brett, my friend, my buddy, my brother, you are a freaking Egypt. And
one of your friends ran over a skunk on a bicycle.
That was Phil.
Can somebody please spell this out in the chat? This is how I spell Egypt. EEDJIT. You're freaking Egypt.
Spell it again.
EEDJIT. That's what he said.
Really, Amy? You want me to?
I spelled it.
I will if you want me to.
Yeah, I wasn't always the boring old.
Did you know this shit when you married this man?
I wasn't always the boring old straw hat wearing the old man with the gray hair. Yeah, I had some fun back in the day.
Well, the funny thing is, yeah, we all have a good time as kids, and you know, and this is a point I wanted to make is like I don't mind. I actually don't mind when people die of stupidity. You know, if you're skateboarding on the rails of your balcony,
oh God,
that's 6 floors up, and you know you take an Asperger and you fly off the balcony, and you know you land in the dirt, and you know you either get cement poisoning or idiot poisoning or whatever you get. To me, those stupid people, the people that die of stupidity, they're you know, they're sucking up less of the good old fresh air and stuff like that. You understand?
The rooster said my brother would catch fish and then throw them in convertibles going under a bridge.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's not nice. That's not nice.
That's better than some of the kids around here were throwing bricks off of bridges and overpasses.
Oh, Thorhaven, you know what? Okay, so Thorhaven, Sam, they once did drive-by high fives for anyone in the military, and it sucked because it hurt. But wrist didn't break. That's cool. You know, that's serving up props to folks who protect your country. And God bless, keep all of our former and current fellow service members. Army for the win. Hey, Billy, you know what? U.S. Army for the win. Where do you think you get all your intel from? Your Canadian brothers and sisters, right? After the Brits, Canadians are freaking fantastic at comms and intel. This chat is a hoot, isn't it? I love it. I always love talking to Brett and Amy. Always love that. It's because
we're a little nuts.
well, we're a little nuts for sure, and it always goes that way. We always go to there's some point where we end up smash talking the other. Like I told Brett he was a dumbass, and he can call me whatever he wants, and there's no way I will take it to heart. He's my brother, and
you really should be here for family get-togethers. It gets pretty interesting.
Oh goodness gracious! I'd probably want to sit in the porch. Not like I'm being punished or nothing like that, but there might be too much smack talk going on for me.
Probably. My family scared away a preacher.
Well, I've scared away Navymen.
Well, that's pretty good.
Sunshine Me is saying, have these lovelies on every week. Okay, so Amy, if you got the ability right there, go on ahead and drop your link again so that the folks can see it. And this wasn't an interview. This is a conversation between homesteaders and preppers. I want you guys and gals to look at Broussard Homestead because they bring a really, really freaking important thing to the table. Billy the Kid, no shit. Sherlock. I get it. Yeah. W.3 is in progress. And if you haven't noticed it, we've been under it for 2 years. And for anybody who doesn't freaking notice it now, their eyes aren't alive. Their eyes aren't open. They're not looking. Their head is buried in the sand. Do you feel me? Amy, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Guys and gals in the chat, if you don't know my awesome brothers and sisters, Brett and Amy, Broussard Homestead, please go subscribe. You will not be disappointed. They're wonderful, wonderful people.
We definitely have some interesting live streams on Thursday night.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure do. And Amy, just go ahead and while you're talking about that, apprise the people of when you do your live streams so that they can know how to join you and when to join you.
We go live on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central.
Yep.
Every Thursday.
Well, no, not every Thursday.
Not every Thursday.
Because of my work schedule. Every third week is Wednesday, but we normally put out
sometimes it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
To let people know it's going to be on Wednesday that week.
See, some days I don't even know what day it is. He just says, "Hey, today's live day." Okay.
Nah, Thorhaven something. Thorhaven gave something I want to address, and I'm trying to find it. The chat's bouncing. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, no, it's after that. This StreamYard kind of sucks as far as.
But he said, "Did you ever train in HMCS York versus VS Fort York versus Fort York? Ever notice how the Navy showers were all open versus individual stalls for infantry and armored?"
Nope. Thorhaven, no, I did not train there. All my training was done. I did my basic training at Canadian Forces Base Cornwallis in Nova Scotia, which was freaking interesting because I did it in damn January and February. And you guys and gals don't know the East Coast of Canada. You'll get every season in the afternoon. Every season in the afternoon.
Yeah, we call that Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what we used to call it as well. But there was a portion of training I had to go out, and you had to do it in the nature, and you had to climb up really, really freaking steep hills, like vertical type hills, and then you know, you get up on top of that, and then they say, all right, we can get back home. We can either go this way or that way. And the easy way was, the short way. So we always chose, but it took an awful lot longer. We always chose the harder way to go.
I'm going to have to agree with Sarah Nicole there in the chat. She says recommended reading the Book of Enoch.
And those bastards were training us. You know, we'd be sleeping on the frickin' ground on snow, Amy. In our little hooches. You got to carry on your back and all that. They'd fire in a gas grenade. The rotten frickin' bastards. But they really didn't like me. They didn't like me a whole bunch, because I was like, well, shit. Okay. I got my gas mask inside of my hooch, and inside of my bivouac, and inside of my sleeping bag. I'll just fire on my gas mask, and I'll just continue sleeping. Hell, they really didn't like that. Like, screw you, pal. You freaking trained me. I'm showing you it works. Get off. Like, I'm trying to freaking sleep here. And but yeah, no, it was really, really good training. I'll tell you what. I'm happy I went through it. Yeah, it sucked a bag of ass. And yeah, I went through the gas huts as well. And my when you go in the gas hut, you're not allowed to have your mask on. You got your mask in your pouch, and the whole deal with a gas mask and gas thing is you got like 9 seconds. 9 seconds is the drill. You have to put your mask on. 9 seconds. It's like, all right, well, that's fine. It's on my hip, and I can rip it open and fire it on. But that's a rubber thing, and sometimes the seal folds and won't necessarily seal. So I got in there. I was like, crap!
He scared the crap out of me.
It wasn't totally sealed. It wasn't totally sealed. And I got gassed a little bit. And man, my eyes were burning, and I was crying, and my nose was running. It's like they spray powder of cayenne pepper in your face that you breathe in. And
pretty much what it is, yeah.
You're just gonna cry, and your eyes will leak, and your nose is gonna activate and run, and that. Funny thing about that is, all the hardcore, like I was going in for communications, okay, but we all had to do the same basic training, and so I was going through with guys that were going through for like hardcore ground infantry, right? And God bless our battle troops. God bless them. All those tough guys were the guys that puked. I never puked from the gas huts or anything like that. Not saying I'm a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy by any measure, and I've never testified to be. I don't want to represent myself that way. That's not me. I'm tough, but it comes from here. And it comes from here, right? I'm mentally strong, and I'm strong in my heart. Kincaid Outdoors. Colin, thank you ever so much for your service. But yeah, some really, really freaking cool, interesting stuff. Hey, Brett.
Yeah.
You still all right there?
I'm good. Yeah.
You want to know something that's really interesting? You may never hear.
What's that?
From my military service or somebody else's military service. Okay. All right. I'll tell you something. And this is just a little curious point. You probably never, ever think about in your life. And I want to share it out, for you and for other folks who may not have served. And I don't know what it is about the whole situation, but I'll tell you what. Okay. All right. When I went to boot camp, they worked us so friggin' hard with training and running and the PT, like the physical training and those kinds of things. We burned off and marching and all kinds of different stuff and training and just busy all the time. I got there, I landed there, and we were given about 5 to 7 minutes in the chow house to get in the chow house, get the chow down us, and get the frick out and back on the line. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like there was a shortage of any food they were giving away. You could put whatever you wanted on your plate and shovel that crap down. And don't get me wrong, it was good food. It was, I won't say top notch, but it was good food. You got jammed into the chow house. Get the hell off of my line. Get into the chow house. You got 7 minutes to be out here back on the line. So, I mean, you got to go through the chow line real quick, shovel it in real quick. You could have whatever, as much of whatever you could shovel in during that time. You go out, get back on the line, and then they'll run you for another 5 miles or whatever, right? But one of the really, really interesting things is, because we're burning through thousands and thousands of calories a day, we're probably burning 5, 6, maybe 7,000 calories a day.
Right.
I did not have a turd for 5 days.
Oh my God.
And when I did, it came out like rabbit pellets. So obviously I was a little underhydrated.
Oh, right.
But I'll tell you what, I was starting to get worried at day 5. I was like, I haven't had a poo in 5 days. And I was starting to get worried. But the thing about it is they were working every single calorie out of us.
Yeah.
Well, gee, Ma, that's not something you're. I don't think I've ever heard any other military service member share that. It's just, it's in one of those little interesting life introspective things that you will never hear from anywhere. So I just thought I'd share it out. Don't get me wrong. I don't like talking about poo or anything like that. But it is a thing. Poop talk. Yeah. I mean, we're doing poop talk. We were, but just an interesting little thing that it took place. That was my case for boot camp. I'm not sure. All right, Kincaid Outdoors is in here, and if there's any other military, former or current service members here in the chat, can you also chime in if that was the case for you?
One memory from the fire academy that stands out in my mind is we were PTing, and we had a cross tie, railroad cross tie, and they called it the Judge, and there was 3 of us per cross tie, and we were working out with this cross tie as a team, so we start doing sit-ups with this cross tie, and I've got 2 guys on the side of me. I'm the middle guy. The 2 guys on the side of me were smaller than me, just as strong, but they were smaller, and sat up with the cross tie, and then when we sat back down, me being big chested, the entire weight of the whole cross tie was on my chest, and I tapped out. I was like, you got to get me out of here, man. That was terrible. It was just crushing me.
Yeah, I get that. And okay, so I'm seeing some folks in here concur. Kincaid Outdoors during his service, and he didn't just serve the Air Force. I believe he served 2 or 3 different forces during his service. Southern Boy Prepper, you're home. All right, I'm glad you're home, well and safe.
Welcome home.
Thank you for chiming in. But good Lord, I mean, some of the stuff that they put us through, and guys and gals who don't know what your service members like Brett, who's a fireman, a professional fireman, and your Army and Navy veterans. It's just little wee clippets of really interesting and stupid, kind of funny things that you might not know that we go through. Am I fully vaccinated? I have more vaccinations in me than your whole family does. I've been in the military, right? That's what I tell doctors when they ask me, are you vaccinated? I said, well, I got more vaccinations in me than you do. But yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. And it's an interesting talking point that a lot of people that had not served in any sort of capacity might not realize. So, and it's kind of funny, to be honest, Oh, Billy the Kid. Yeah, we got vaxxed in basic training. We called it Needles Parade. Everyone goes in this hut, and you line up based on what your last name is. If your last name is Abbott, you line up first. if your last name is Wheeler, like me, you're toward the back end of the thing. But everyone goes in there. Take your shirt off. All right, step up on my line. And then you got two people behind you, one on either side of the arm. You get double jabbed, and they tell you, get the hell off my line.
Is that before or after they look at your butthole?
Why?
I don't know about the entire butthole thing. Maybe that's an American thing you guys like to do. If that's the case, my name's Paul, and that's between y'all. But yeah, you wouldn't have just a single needles parade. You would do that every however often they had it scheduled. And I mean, at that point, it's not really your choice. You're just, it's like, shut up, dumbass, and get in line. Now, what can I say, Thorhaven? Hey, it's your butt. Do whatever you want with it. None of my business. Go ahead and have fun. Do whatever you want. It's not me, but do I?
Yeah.
Can you outdoors? Do I remember? Do I remember getting my head shaved? Yes, I do, and I appreciate you asking that because it's hilarious. Because when they shaved my head, I actually laughed. I don't know if the grinder they were chopping my hair off with was vibrating and like ticklish on my head or something like that. But I was laughing the whole freaking time. And I went in there, I had a pretty long set of hair.
Oh.
Billy, that sounds like a good
I don't know. It did tickle. Yeah, it did tickle. Yeah.
He missed Billy's comment.
So maybe that's why I was giggling a little wee bit. But
I think Sean might have had a little too much of that drink.
Hey, you brought it up. Yeah, come on now.
You missed Billy the Kid's comment.
You didn't see Billy's comment. It says, I'll get the Fauci ouchie if you'll lick my butthole.
Hell is Billy up to? You know what? Screw that. I'm not even going to look for what Billy said. I'll catch him on some retarded late night live stream when there's like two people in there and it'll just be him or whatever. But yeah, guys and gals, Billy the Kid Norwood does have a channel. He does extremely late night live streams. He had a band, a cover band where he used to play Russian songs live, touring and stuff like that. So if you guys like that stuff, go check out Billy.
Wow.
Sean, I think we ought to better get going.
All right.
Yeah. Awfully late.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Probably
Billy just gave you a tip.
Holy crap, Billy. Thank you ever so much, Billy, for the super sticker. Very, very much appreciated. With that, guys and gals, a link, please. All right. If somebody can drop a link to Billy, please go ahead. We'll leave it on long for that. But just long enough. But, I'm going to
share ours one more time, too.
With that, Brett and Amy, yeah, this has been an awfully long live stream. I think it was great, and it kind of...
That one's ours.
It kind of slid into the direction where most chats go. And that's okay. Oh, that's okay. I mean, it's life.
Can't be a Homestead chat without shit and buttholes.
Amy, goodness gracious, sis. But yeah, no, I think we've had an awfully good live stream. We covered all the points. we kind of wanted to do, and then you know, we've been hanging out like you know, just like brothers and sisters, and just having a conversation, or you know, like as friends, you know, a couple of buddies hanging out against the fence and just chewing the cud.
Oh yeah. Good times for sure.
All right, well, go on ahead then, man. Guys and gals in the chat, thank you ever so much for joining me and the awesome Broussard Homestead, Brett and Amy, my brother and sister. Thanks ever so much for joining us for that interactive chat about homesteading / prepping. Very cool, because the two are extremely linked. Fantastic live stream. I completely enjoyed it. You guys and gals stay well and safe. Don't forget to hold your brother and your sister up, and don't ever look down on anyone unless you're about to help them up. Okay. With that, guys and gals, this is going to be Northshore Preparedness and
Broussard Homestead, thank you so much for having us, North.
That's all right. I always love talking to you guys, whether it's on the phone or in a live stream or whatever it might be. Always love talking to you. You guys and gals don't know them, go check them out. Give them a sub. You won't be disappointed, okay?
We appreciate it. Good night.
Stay
God
on,
bless,
stay
guys.
Paul. This is going to be North. Out for now.